Last night's dramatic Astros win over the Cardinals has to be considered one of the top moments of the Astros season. Tonight, all eyes will be on the Astros as they try to ruin the Cardinals' postseason plans. Astros and Cardinals are next on Fox Sports Houston. Live from Minute Maid Park in Houston, Texas, Fox Sports Houston brings you Houston Astros baseball. Tonight, it's Game 2 of this three-game series. The Astros meeting the St. Louis Cardinals. Good evening, everybody. Bill Brown and Jim DeShays. We saw a good game last night. The Astros winning it 5-4 in their final at-bat, JD.
Yeah, awfully tough loss for the Cardinals. A brave loss went up on the scoreboard. Earlier, the Cardinals had a chance to tie Atlanta, and the Astros won an extra-inning ballgame. A very entertaining game. A lot of things went well for the Astros last night in all phases of the game. Defensively, J.D. Martinez came up with a big throw to throw out Albert Pujols at home plate. A couple very nice double plays. This Cardinal team, they do a lot of hitting, but boy, they've hit into a bunch of double plays more than ever in their club history. Matt Downs picked on a Jaime Garcia fastball, knocked it into the seats for a two-run blast. And check out this play. 10th inning as Carlos ultimately gets Punto, and then a little bit of a base running rock here by Yadier Molina. And ultimately, the Astros win it on a pair of bunts, and this is the finale. Little safety squeeze here. Dotel couldn't make a play. Bogasevic scores the game winner. Angel Sanchez gets beat up.
Coming up from Minute Maid Park, it's still a wild card race. The Cardinals need it. A game behind Atlanta. The Astros try to play spoiler again tonight.
Season, it's the Cardinals and the Astros, a game that is very important for the Cardinals, especially when they look up at that scoreboard and the Phillies are leading the Braves again, this time 3-0, and the game goes to the fourth. Cardinals lost a chance last night, and the Astros are hoping they lose another one tonight. The guys are going to be calling the action from up top, Bill Brown and Jim DeShays.
Well, it could be a big night in that wild card race. We'll check the starting lineup now for Tony La Russa's Redbirds, who have won 14 of 19. It's John Jay in center field. Rafael Furcal will miss the rest of the series with a leg injury. David Freese at third base. Albert Pujols at first. Lance Berkman in right field. Matt Holliday in left field. Yadier Molina the catcher. Skip Schumacher at second base tonight. Nick Punto at shortstop. Jake Westbrook is the pitcher.
26-year-old Henry Sosa will pitch for the Astros tonight, making his 10th major league start with the Astros this year. Thursday, he picked up his third win, beating the Rockies. He worked 6 1/3, allowed 9 hits, 3 runs, walked 1, and struck out 4. It was a 9-6 Astros win defensively. Carlos Lee back out there in left field to shag him with Shuck and Bogasevic. Paredes, Barmes, Altuve joined by Brett Wallace, making just his second start since being called up from AAA. And J.R. Tolles has been getting frequent work behind the plate lately.
And he is ready to flash the first signs for Henry Sosa. John Jay at .298 with 10 homers, 36 runs batted in. Settling into the box. Jay hit 8th last night and had 2 hits, a single and double. There's ball 1 to Jay, who has a .344 on base average. You guys who can go from 8th to 1st in the order and look pretty good in both spots. It's a 2-ball, no strike count. Jay has scored 55 runs this season. First appearance for Sosa against the Redbirds. Sosa puts that one in for strike 1. Dana DeMuth is calling the pitches tonight. He's the crew chief. Sosa's had a few starts in which he faltered in the first inning, but overall good in the first. Off the end of the bat, it goes out to center. J.B. Shuck waiting. 1 out for Sosa.
Well, Cardinals getting their first look at Henry Sosa. They're going to see a guy who's primarily a 2-pitch pitcher, fastball, slider. As you look at the out-of-town scoreboard, and Phillies jumping all over Derek Lowe and the Atlanta Braves 4-0 now. Top of the 4th. That's in support of Roy Oswalt. And you see Chase Utley has gone deep. So the Braves continue to scuffle. We'll help the Cardinals relax a wee bit, but they still trail by 1.
They have only a couple days to pick up that one game. There is ball 1 to David Freese. .295 for Freese, 10 homers. He's driven in 54. He's batting second as he did last night when he won 1 for 3. Usually he's down further in the order. It's 1 ball, 1 strike for Sosa. Sosa's put together a pretty consistent run. In 5 of his last 6 starts, he's gone 6 innings, and the most runs he's allowed would be 3, and he's only allowed that many once. 1 ball, 2 strikes. So the last 6 starts, a 3-3 record, a 3.82 ERA for Henry Sosa. Young ball left side, and that sneaks through between a diving Paredes and a diving Barmes. Seeing eye single for Freese.
This club has got a lot of weapons. They don't have a lot of speed, but they got a bunch of high average hitters. They hit a lot of home runs. And as I mentioned, they're going to see a guy in Sosa who's primarily fastball, slider, once in a great while a changeup. This time it's a breaking ball that stays up a little bit for Freese. He just squirts it through there.
Albert Pujols is the batter. With 98 runs batted in, 37 homers, at .916 OPS, 301 batting average for Pujols. He was 2 for 5 last night. And he checked that swing. It's ball 1. Pujols is 5th in total bases in the National League. He's hit .275 against Houston. That's lower than his normal career batting average against the Astros. Pujols, of course, missed time with that wrist injury earlier this season. This is the terrible trio for pitcher Pujols, Berkman, Holliday lined up in the 3, 4, 5 spots.
Terrible trio. Did you coin that, Brownie?
Just came up
Should
with
have came up with that in April. The season's almost over.
That's probably about 100 years old, JD.
I remember the Ghostly Trio.
Who were they?
From Casper.
Okay, yeah.
We'll call them the Ghostly Trio.
Well, they might be the Ghostly Trio if they don't make the playoffs. They'll be sort of floating.
Especially if Albert doesn't return to St. Louis.
Ooh. The runner goes. Toles with a throw high and on over Altuve into center field. That'll get Freese all the way to third base on the throwing error by Toles. 6th error by Toles, and the steal was the first for Freese.
As I mentioned, they don't run much, but he gets a pretty good jump here, and then the high throw beyond the reach of Altuve.
Pitch was a strike. Pujols went down on a knee.
Like JR may have been impeded with Albert's body there in his stride, and if that's the case, go ahead and make contact. Try to get a call from an umpire. If you don't make contact, you're not going to get the call.
Infield in halfway. Pujols waves at that one, and it's 2-2. Pujols trying to make this the 11th straight season with 100 runs batted in.
Great pitch there with an RBI guy up there who's got a man on third base looking to drive that run in. Throw it a little bit off the plate, see if you can get him to offer.
Pujols has 42 career homers against Houston with 111 runs batted in. In the air, and the right fielder Bogusevic has a big time arm. It's not a long throw. Here's the tag. Freese coming to the plate. The throw to Toles. It's waiting, and he is out. Tremendous play for Brian Bogusevic, getting it early to J.R. Toles for the tag on Freese for a 9-2 double play. Season.
Clinic Browning.
Boy.
Squarely behind that ball, lined up to home plate in great shape. Settles his body underneath it and throws a laser. No tough hop to deal with when you can get it there on the fly. And JR sets up and getting ready for the hit, but he doesn't get one. Freese tries to slide, and there's just nowhere for him to go.
J.D. Martinez threw out a Cardinal runner at the plate last night in the third. Albert Pujols on a hit by Holiday. Now another Cardinal runner gunned out at the plate, and it's J.B. Schuck leading it off in the Houston first. 292. 3 runs batted in for Schuck. Came up with a pinch hit last night. And he's 5 for 7 now in his last 4 games. There's ball 1 to Schuck, who has singled down back-to-back pinch hit appearances. Done very well in those assignments. Time for him to start, and it's 1-1. Well, last night was Star Wars night. We got the laser from J.D. Martinez. Tonight it comes from Bogusevic, the 37th outfield assist for the Astros this year. Westbrook's 2-0 in 2 starts against Houston.
2.38 ERA for the year. He's 12-9.
It's out to center field. Jay retracing his steps in. He gets back and makes the catch. Started over a little bit, and then he realized he had to take a different route to the ball, and Schuck hit that one pretty well for out number 1.
Jay almost turned that one into a triple. Those first couple of steps were in and over, and then realizing that is not going to work, he made the adjustment and able to track it down.
Here's the lineup for Brad Mills. It's Shuck, Altuve, Bogusevic, Lee, Wallace, Paredes, Farmas, Tolles, and Sosa. Jose Altuve did not play in last night's game. He's hitting .412 against St. Louis this year. Fly ball high to left field. Holiday backing. Holiday feeling for the wall, reaching up. And it's out number 2.
Two good swings here by the Astros. First 2 hitters. Unfortunately, 2 quick outs, but line drive by Shuck and a near home run for Altuve. Up against the wall is Holiday to haul that one in. Westbrook, when he's on his game, gets a lot of outs on the ground with that sinker. So far 2 balls airborne and pretty well struck.
Play by Holiday.
Close look at that 4-0 Philly lead on the out-of-town scoreboard.
Bogusevic takes a strike. 287, 4 homers, 15 runs batted in for the rifle-armed right fielder. It's 0-2 to Brian Bogusevic. He's hitting .319 in his last 41 games. Westbrook gets a 2-hopper to second. Schumacher takes care of out number 3, and it's scoreless after 1 in Houston.
Season, you can already start planning for 2012. 2012 is the Astros' 50th anniversary celebration presented by the Methodist Hospital System. Season tickets now on sale. Lock in great prices and benefits by purchasing early. Astros.com is this place for the details.
Lance Berkman looking at ball 1, leads off the second inning. He drove in a couple last night. And this one off the end of the bat goes to left field, caught by Carlos Lee. Lance tied the game with a 2-run double last night in the 8th. Sosa gets him, and it's Holiday next.
Well, that's about average for him. He's averaging about 2 RBIs a game here in this ballpark. Exactly. 14 RBIs, 7 games, 5 home runs. Just inflicting a lot of damage here, but a quick out. Sosa showing pretty good movement on his 2-seam fastball to the outside corner.
New baseball put into play for Sosa. And it's Holiday who will see that baseball coming at him. Holiday 2 for 4 with a run scored, a double, and RBI in last night's game. 297, 22 bombs, 75 driven in. An appendectomy this year, among other things. Strike to Holiday. The Cardinals have played their way through some injuries this season, but he's hit .462 against Houston. He's a .332 lifetime hitter against the Astros. That's in the air to right field. Bogusevic moving. 2 down for Sosa. Sosa coming off a 9-6 win Thursday over Colorado, in which he gave up 3 runs in 6 1/3 innings.
And it was interesting, the game before he struggled with his control, walked 5. And last time out he gave up 9 hits, but he was able to minimize the walks. He walked just 1 in that start. And he was rewarded with his 3rd big league W.
Yadier Molina bounces 1 foul. There's strike 1. It came in on his hands. Molina at 306 with 14 homers, has driven in 64. Molina walked 3 times and had a double last night. After his double in the 10th inning with 1 out, he was thrown out trying to go to 3rd on a comebacker to Mark Melancon. Key outs in the game for the Astros. By the way, congratulations to Mark and Mary Catherine Melancon for a baby who arrived today, Brooklyn Marie, 6 pounds 13 ounces, born at 2:26 this afternoon.
Very, very exciting time. Congratulations and welcome, Brooklyn Marie.
Another Astros fan born today. Fly ball goes foul and out of play. Well, it's such a joyous time, and knowing that Mary Catherine was going to be induced after the game last night, Mark took the mound in the 9th inning of a tie game, worked a scoreless 9th, a scoreless 10th, took off, and the Astros got the win for him, his 8th of the year. Not saying he left before the game was over, but he was possibly getting dressed when they were in that winning rally. We don't know. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Been gone, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. He went to Brad Mills, according to the stories on the bench. So it's 10:30. 1 hopper backhanded. Clint Barmas makes his usual fine play. Sosa has faced 6 Redbirds and is scoreless after 1.5. Now with Lee, Wallace, and Paredes coming up, Tampa Bay and Boston are tied for the wild card lead. Boston leads at 5-1. Jacoby Ellsbury hit his 32nd homer, and Lavarnway #1, and it's 5-1 there in the 4th inning. Meanwhile, Tampa Bay, tied with Boston, is in the top of the 4th, leading the Yankees 2-1. Keep an eye on that race for you. Carlos Lee taking. There's strike 1. Carlos, with 94 runs batted in, is tied for 9th in the National League. He has 18 homers and a .276 average. He's hit very well against Westbrook. He was backing out of there. I don't know if he was acknowledged to have called time. Nope. DeMuth is shaking his head, so apparently Carlos was not granted time. Looked like the pitch was a ball, so he got lucky.
Well, that's the thing. Westbrook, a very quick worker.
There's a single into right center field for Carlos, who becomes the first Houston base runner. He was hitting .436 against Westbrook, 2 homers and 8 runs batted in before that. aboard for Brett Wallace.
Sinker moving down and in on Carlos, but he gets the hands pulled in and just pushes it out there into shallow right for a knock.
Carlos hit a 2-run homer off Westbrook in Houston this season, June 7th, and then in St. Louis he had an RBI single. Brett Wallace last year in St. Louis had an RBI single, and then in Houston against Westbrook 3 for 3 with an RBI. So these are the two nemesis hitters for Westbrook.
Well, the sinker from Westbrook is a good pitch for Wallace. That two-seamer that's going to move out away from Brett, and that's Westbrook's best pitch. So to a certain extent it plays to Wallace's strength. So we'll see if Westbrook is able to counter that and throw a cutter or slider in on him. I think that's what they're going to try to do here.
Yeah. Moved in.
But he's probably more likely to make a mistake with that pitch than he is his sinker.
Wallace 5 for 9, and he's been hit twice, so they've tried to come in on him. Wallace, a Cardinal first-round pick, and he's hit .327 against St. Louis.
Comes a sinker.
Wallace takes strike 2.
Pretty darn good one there.
Wallace unloaded the longest home run hit this season. That came Saturday night against Colorado. Number 5 of the year, went to the second row of the patio out in center field. 448 feet. He started to reach for that one, and yes, they ruled that he swung. Wallace strikes out on appeal to Paul Nauer. 1 out.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with Nauert on that one.
Jimmy Paredes has not played against the St. Louis Cardinals until tonight. 286 for Jimmy, 2 homers, 16 runs batted in. Last night it was Chris Johnson at third base. Strike 1 to Paredes. Cardinals are 8-5 against the Astros this season. And in the 7 games here, St. Louis has won 4. In tight, and Jimmy takes ball 1. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Now Westbrook has actually been better against left-handed hitters this year than righties. Left-handed batters hitting .254 off of him. Right-handers .312. And that's not uncommon to see from a sinker ball pitcher. The ball moving down and away. Not a whole lot of left-handed hitter could do with it if he's hitting his spots.
2-1. It's Eric Bedard pitching for the Red Sox tonight against Britton for Baltimore. Jacoby Ellsbury making his MVP statement this week with a couple of big home runs for the Red Sox.
Hunter Pence has gone deep, and the Phillies now lead Atlanta 6-0. Utley hit number 11 earlier. Now number 22 for Hunter. Speculation about Tony La Russa going to the White Sox to replace Ozzie Guillen, who's moving on to the Marlins.
Yeah. Up the middle and right past Westbrook's glove. It goes for a Paredes single, getting Lee to second base. Almost into Westbrook's glove, but his first and second one out now as Paredes singles.
For his part, La Russa will not talk about the speculation of him moving to the White Sox. He doesn't want to distract from what's going on with this Cardinal club right now. It'll be interesting to watch that unfold after the season.
Well, he's managed there before.
That's where it started for him. 79 through 86 he was with the White Sox, and he's very tight with Sox owner Jerry Reinsdorf. There's the Pence homer.
22nd for Hunter. Oswald on the mound, and Lowe is now out of the game after 4 innings, giving up 5 earned runs. Well, he's been a disappointment for the Braves. Strike on the foul ball by Barmas. 246 for Clint, 12 homers, 39 driven in. And last night his base running was a focal point in the 3rd inning. He was 1 for 4. Had a sharp single to right field. He took off immediately on a ball in the dirt, taking second on a wild pitch. Then made another good decision on a ball hit up the middle, taking third on a Toles single, and scored on a sacrifice bunt. Now a liner to left field, in for a hit, and the bases are loaded. Looping throw comes in from Holiday. Bases loaded for J.R. Toles.
We talked about Westbrook and his sinker moving away from lefties, but that pitch, that two-seamer, is going to run in towards right-handed hitters, and if he doesn't get it well in off the plate, it kind of moves into their swing, especially a guy like Barmes, who likes the ball in there to begin with.
Toles with 3 homers, 10 runs batted in.
All right, here's another one. This is a dangerous matchup for Westbrook.
Catches the corner, strike one.
Baby slider. Got the benefit of the doubt, but JR is quick inside, so Westbrook's going to have to be careful if he tries to come in with that fastball.
This ties J.R. Toles' career high, playing 54 games this year. That's right there for a strike, and it's 0-2 to him. He is starting now for the 5th time in the Astros' last 7 games. Carlos Corporan's son had about 8 hours of heart surgery yesterday with good results from what we're hearing. Foul back. Mark Melanson is not here tonight. Westbrook, with that .346 batting average with the bases loaded, has allowed 3 grand slams in his career. As JD mentioned, he's been an extreme ground ball pitcher. 75% ground balls since July 10th of last year. Toles takes it 1-2. That's tops in the league and averaging almost 3 ground balls per fly ball. Toles 6 for 18 against St. Louis this year. Sosa's on deck. In the air to shallow right center field. Berkman in with the catch. Here's the tag. Carlos Lee coming. The throw's up the line. It's cut off by Pujols. Nobody at second. Sacrifice fly for Toles. And a 1-0 Houston lead as Toles drives in his 11th.
We focus so much on the depth of fly balls in sacrifice situations, but a lot of times it's not the depth, but the exact location. If an outfielder is moving laterally, very difficult to square up and make an accurate throw. This ball not deep at all. But Lance running hard and moving hard to his right, really out of position. He tries to turn to make the accurate throw, but obviously way offline.
Ball 1 to Henry Sosa. 1 hit and 14 at bats, looking for his first major league RBI. And it's a strike for a 1-1 count. Westbrook pitched well last time out against the Mets, giving up 1 run in 6 innings on Thursday, but got a no decision. Cardinals lost that game, giving up 4 runs in the 9th. 1-2.
Westbrook's been mostly good lately. He's 8-4 with a .361 ERA on the road this year.
Strike. Sosa caught looking, and the Astros come away with 1 run, 3 hits, leaving 2. They lead it after 2, 1-0. We were proud to wear these pins during our 2011 MLB on Fox Sports Houston season to support Stand Up to Cancer and their work to fund groundbreaking research that helps accelerate treatment to patients. For more information, please visit standuptocancer.org/Fox Sports. Astros 1, Cardinals nothing after 2. Skip Schumacher first up in the 3rd inning. Strike 1 for Henry Sosa to a .283 hitter. Schumacher has 2 homers. He's driven in 33. And just off the plate.
Showing an inclination to soften his breaking ball a little bit tonight. Take a little off. Just trying to curl it onto the outside corner. Just missed. Good try though. And now hard in. Will come on back two-seamer. Astros play Schumacher pretty much straight up in the infield and a step the other way in the outfield.
Bounce slowly and coming for it, Wallace tossing back to Sosa. 1 out. Wallace got going very nicely and got himself into a good position for the toss. Back to his left. He was a third baseman earlier in his career.
Henry mixing in a few changeups tonight too.
Nick Punto came into the game last night. There's the Wallace play. His body turned.
That's where you like that feed nice and high.
Punto came off the bench when Furcal was hurt last night to play shortstop. Now he gets to start at that position with Furcal out for the rest of the series. And it is ball 1. .256 for Punto with 17 runs batted in. He's had about 3 different injuries this year. It's a 2-ball no strike count to the 33-year-old Punto. Came up with the Minnesota Twins. Cardinals signed him as a free agent this January. Sosa brings it in and it's 2-1 with pitcher Westbrook on deck. Jeremy Hellickson is pitching for Tampa Bay, leading the Yankees 2-1 after 4 now. Russell Martin at his 18th for New York. That's a strike, 2-2, and Ben Zobrist unloaded, number 20 for the Rays.
Baltimore making a comeback on Boston, trail 5-3 now. Still batting. They've scored 2 in the bottom of the 4th. Red Sox pitching has been a mess.
Boy, has it. Now, according to the latest stories today, Terry Francona cannot see a scenario without John Lester pitching on 3 days rest tomorrow night. 3-2 now to Punto.
Unless they make a last-minute trade.
Sharp single into right field. Punto aboard with hit number 2 for the Redbirds, and it's Westbrook now. Westbrook's done a nice job at the plate.
Hit a grand slam earlier this year.
Yeah. Cardinals have hit 4 of those. Career 116 hitter with 1 homer, 10 runs batted in. He's driven in 8 this year. Bunting this time, and he fouls it, strike 1. Chris Carpenter starts tomorrow here for the Cardinals. The Astros have Brett Myers up. That's a 7:05 start time. We'll be on the air with Astros Live at 6:30. Bunted out toward Sosa. On to Altuve for the sacrifice for Westbrook, his 10th of the year. Punto to second, 2 outs. Give John Jay a crack at driving in a run. The Cardinals lead the National League in runs with 741. They're also leading in on-base average and slugging percentage, as well as total bases, and they have struck out the fewest times of any team. They've also hit into more double plays than anybody.
Somebody said they are approaching a major league record for hitting into double plays.
I heard that, but I didn't check it to see what it was. Overall, they've hit into 192 for the season. That doesn't mean grounded into, but they've hit into.
It means they've had a lot of base runners, too.
True.
There's a positive side to that.
They've hit 272 for a team batting average. They've hit 286 with men in scoring position. Very good numbers. Good experience here for a pitcher like Henry Sosa in this type situation. 2 balls, no strikes. Sosa coming in the trade. Jeff Keppinger going to the Giants. Sosa and one other pitcher coming to the Astros. Sosa was a Double-A then. Out into left field. Carlos Lee pursues it into left center and makes a lunging catch on a well hit ball by John Jay. It's no runs a hit and a man stranded. Big play by the big fellow in left field. Keep the Astros in front 1-0.
Season marks the Houston Astros 50th anniversary, presented by the Methodist Hospital System. All season long, the Astros will celebrate a half a century of baseball with great events, promotions, and more. Come be a part of the celebration. Visit Astros.com for details. Bill?
Thanks, Patty. 1-0 ball game here. We look forward to the 50th. Coming up, the Colorado Rockies will be here to open things next April. J.B. Shuck is the batter here in the home third inning. He lined out to center field in the first. Westbrook throwing ball 1 inside.
He left the ball out a little bit last time, and JB hit a rocket to center, so Westbrook going to show him a little something inside.
John Jay waiting in center. 1 out for Westbrook. Last night it was Jaime Garcia starting. He went 4 innings, giving up 4 runs. Jose Altuve, the first pitch, hit it to the base of the wall in left field in the first. Westbrook 2-2 lifetime against the Astros with a 3.77 ERA in 5 starts. He delivers strike 1. Orioles got 2 in the fourth. It's 5-3 Red Sox after 4. Grounded up the middle and diving. What a play by Schumacher, but he can't make a throw. Good effort, but Schumacher could not prevent Altuve's hit.
Half of a great play.
Yeah.
With Altuve going down the line, he runs pretty well. Would have been very difficult to finish him off anyway, and trying to be very quick with the transition from glove to throwing hand, just can't get the handle.
That's hit number 196 this season for Altuve. Starting at Class A Lancaster, including Double A Corpus Christi and the big leagues. He's aboard for Bogusevic, who grounded out and draws a throw. Altuve has 7 steals in 9 attempts. Yadier Molina, one of the best throwing catchers in the major leagues this year, is not throwing out runners at quite the clip that he has in most of his seasons. 25% of the time he's gunned them down this year. Line fair toward the left field corner, but it kicks out, doesn't get to the corner. Altuve to third base and into second base. Bogusevic. He had an opposite field looping double last night and then scored the winning run in the 10th. This time more of a low liner, but still had some of that side spin on it.
You see Freeze there, the third baseman, well off the line for Bogusevic, and he hits a fair number of balls in that direction. Punto well aware of what's going on with his stadium, so he's hustling out there to handle the carom. Would have been a double either way. If it gets all the way to the corner, Altuve may score. Now it's going to take another swing of the bat to get him home. Carlos Lee comes up. Great opportunity here. He's waving off his home plate umpire. He's telling me, I got this, stay back there, I got this covered. So he initially retreated to go down the line so he could watch the play, but once it hit that wall and kicked back into left field, he hustled back to cover third, and good communication there, letting Dana DeMuth know, I got this, you go ahead and stay back at home plate.
Intentional walk here to Carlos Lee. That loads the bases with 1 out for Brett Wallace.
You see the rotation, you see DeMuth starting to come down, and now it says, I got it, you're good.
Matt Holliday has come out of the game. Alan Craig is in left field now. Bases will be loaded now with 1 out for Wallace. The Astros cashed in on this same type of situation in the second inning on a J.R. Toll sacrifice fly with the bases loaded and 1 out.
Well, let him do it to you, Wally.
There's Craig in left, and Holliday is out of the game.
What's going on with Holliday, I wonder?
Well, he had missed a few games with a problem with the middle finger in his right hand, down at the base of that middle finger. But he'd played the last couple. Not sure what it is tonight. Wallace was a first-round pick of St. Louis in 08, 13th player drafted. Smacks one into right field, scoring Altuve, and Bogusevic is making the turn. He comes to the plate. Berkman's throw cut off, and it's a 2-run single. Former Cardinal farmhand Brad Wallace comes back to haunt, and it's 3-0 Houston. 29 runs batted in for Wallace.
We talked recently about wanting to be a little bit more aggressive at the plate. Maybe felt earlier at times he was overthinking things. So good aggressive first pitch swing here, and he is rewarded for it. Finds the hole between first and second. A couple of runs come in. Carlos slides all the way on over to third base.
Now with 1 out, it's Jimmy Paredes. He singled up the middle in the second inning. That's 6 hits and 3 runs for the Astros. Clint Barmas on deck. Ball 1 to Paredes. Mitchell Boggs is warming up for St. Louis. One ball and 1 strike. For Wallace, a sweet moment. He's hitting better than 300 lifetime against St. Louis. That gives him 8 career runs batted in now against the Cardinals. After the intentional walk to Carlos Lee, he delivers. In tight, and it's 2-1. Phillies 6, Atlanta nothing. They're in the bottom of the 6th in Atlanta. And Chipper Jones playing that one on a knee that's really bothering him. knocked out to right center field. A high flyer for Paredes. That'll drive in a couple. And that stays in play up on Towles Hill. Paredes going into third with a 2-run triple. Second triple of the year for Jimmy Paredes. And it's 5-0 Astros.
Jake Westbrook just not getting the good sink on his sinker. And the Astros taking advantage. That one just up in the zone, and watch the swing by Paredes. Beautiful swing of the bat. Sounded good too. He can flat out fly, so once it did not bounce out of here, you knew it was going to be a triple for Paredes. Lewis is going to make the move.
Paredes with a clap on the back from Dave Clark. He has made it 5-0. We'll be right back. In 1964, the Colt 45s down the Dodgers 1-0 in 12 innings in the last game in Colt Stadium. What a final game. And that was a big ballpark, pitcher's ballpark, very hot and humid. And Paul Richards, the general manager, dimmed the lights and let the grass grow. He wanted to do everything he could to try to level the playing field because the Colt 45s were outmanned by their opponents. They did have some good pitching. Mitchell Boggs comes in with a 2-3 record, 1 hold, and a 3.60 ERA.
You saw him for an inning last night, but he only threw 8 pitches. He's a fastball slider primarily. He also will flip an occasional curve and changeup into the mix, but 75% of the time you're going to see a first pitch fastball from Mitchell Boggs.
And Barmas would be ready for that. Clint singled to left field in the second inning. Boggs worked a hitless inning last night. Now the infielders run all the way in, and there's strike one.
25% of the time you're going to see a slider.
Yankees have tied Tampa Bay. It's 2-2 after 5.
Here comes the zone blitz.
Second baseman and shortstop come dashing in. 1-1.
A lot of teams used to do this. I think the Cardinals are the only team we see do it now with any regularity.
It's a 2-ball 1-strike count. The Red Sox have the bases loaded and 2 outs in the top of the 5th inning in Baltimore, leading 5-3.
And initially what clubs would do, they'd start their middle infielders back, and then they'd have them crash, trying to confuse the hitter as to how they were trying to defend the situation. I think now it's more just a matter of trying to create some movement and break the hitter's concentration. Because clearly Barmas knows they're playing the infield in this situation.
2-2 the count. J.R. Tolles on deck. Varmus hits one foul. Good play there.
Got in his hat. You gotta love the hat play. Ironically, does not get the ovation that a glove would have gotten. I don't understand that. I've never been able to figure that out. The glove catch always gets a better ovation than the hat catch. Clearly a harder play.
Oh yeah. Varmus strikes out. 2 outs now as Boggs gets that out and faces J.R. Tolles. Boggs, 27 years old, 5th round Cardinal pick in the 05 draft from Dalton, Georgia. Reached the College World Series with the University of Georgia in 04. He was a quarterback at UT Chattanooga. Tolles with the sacrifice fly in the 2nd inning made it 1-0. Henry Sosa's on deck.
I'm surprised they're pitching to JR here. Even though he's just hitting a $185.
JR first came to the big leagues in September of 07. He had an 8 RBI game against St. Louis. Little roller stays fair and picked up fair by Molina. He got the out. But the Astros had a big inning, scoring 4 times in the 3rd inning. Altuve single, Bogusevic double, intentional walk, Wallace 2-run single, and then a 2-run triple by Paredes. 5-0 Astros. In the American League, it's Tampa Bay and Houston and Boston tied. Boston leads 5-3 in Baltimore, bottom of the 5th inning. Yankees now are in front of Tampa Bay. It's 3-2 there in the bottom of the 6th. Henry Sosa has the 5-0 lead, working the 4th now with David Freese the batter. Freese singled to left in the 1st inning. Up and in, ball 1 to Freese. Sosa in July was pitching at AA Richmond, a Giants farm club. And then after the trade sending him to the Astros, he went to AA Corpus Christi, where he was 2-0 with a 2.89 ERA before being promoted to Oklahoma City. Now 3 balls, no strikes, and Tolles pays a visit.
Giants tried Sosa as a reliever at AAA this year. But he put up miserable numbers, and they moved him back into the rotation at AA, and he pitched well, as he did in the farm system of the Astros. Nice fluid delivery, long arm action. All really comes out of his hand nicely. Tolles pays a visit. Now Brocail out with the chat. Important stretch of hitters coming up. That leadoff walk now, he's got the middle of the order to contend with.
That's a signal. Did not go unheeded, so Brocail paid the quick visit. Try to get things corrected with Pujols batting. Pujols hit the fly ball to right field. Bogasevic caught and threw out Freese trying to tag and score. Strike one to Pujols.
Broke must have told him, hey, just throw it right down the middle. This guy can't hit.
Hits that one foul, and it's an 0-2 count to Pujols.
Phillies now lead 7-0 over the Braves.
Bartolo Colon's on the mound for the Yankees against Tampa Bay's Jeremy Hellickson. Yankees leading at 3-2. Bottom of the 6th inning in St. Petersburg. Yankees have 97 wins. Pujols looks at a ball to make it 1-2. There's still some drama here in these final 2 days of the season as far as playoff matchups. If Detroit and Texas tie, Detroit holds the tiebreaker there, winning the season series 6-3. Texas currently has a 1-game lead on Detroit. Foul ball, and Bogasevic comes over, but it's well out of play. Still 1-2. Now the Tigers are winning tonight 6-1.
And since the 2 wild card contenders are in the East, the Yankees will play either Detroit or Texas. They can't play Boston or Tampa in the first round, as per Major League Baseball rules,
which should be changed.
Rule 104, subparagraph B, Article 3. Look out!
That was ripped foul. Texas plays later tonight on the West Coast against the Angels. Colby Lewis against Irvin Santana.
Big fell out in front of this one.
Was he ever?
Now, Henry, that's one thing I've liked about Henry Sosa. Well, there's a number of things I like about him, but one of the things I like about him is he's not afraid to come inside. He'll run that fastball in on right-handed hitters, and he doesn't back down from the big guys either.
2-2 to Pujols.
Rick Carlisle's in the house tonight. Coach of the Dallas Mavericks, NBA champions. He's a friend of Tony La Russa's. Settled in behind the Cardinal dugout.
Swing and a miss. Good slider struck him out.
Pressure busted pipe. So Albert punch out last night chasing the ball out of the zone. Generally doesn't swing and miss all that often.
Strikeout number 1 of the night for Sosa.
Too anxious there.
And you pointed out there have been some pitches inside, making him conscious of that.
Just the situation creates some anxiety here if you're the Cardinals. I mean, Braves are getting beat, but they still have to make up a game.
Yeah. Berkman 0 for 1. Smokes one on a line to center, but yeah, that's a hit in front of Schuck. Schuck got a nice jump on it, but he was so deep that he could not make that catch. So Berkman advances Freeze, and it's 2 on, 1 out.
Yeah, they talk a lot about, let the game come to you. Don't chase bad balls, but we get down to the final 2 days of the season and you're 1 game out of the playoff spot. Well, that's tough.
Right.
It's tough not to be anxious as a hitter.
And trailing 5-0. That compounds the problem. Alan Craig is the batter now. He took over for the injured Matt Holliday in left field. 307 for Craig, 9 homers, 34 runs batted in, 35 runs batted in rather for Craig. Craig got into the game last night 0 for 1. Been very effective. He hurt his knee here much earlier this season and broke his kneecap going into that right field wall in foul territory.
Yeah, he's a good looking young hitter.
Inside 1-1. In fact, the Cardinals have a fallback position. If they fail to sign Albert Pujols, they can place Lance Berkman at first base and Alan Craig in right field next year.
It would still be a very good team.
Yeah.
With Wainwright coming back, presumably healthy.
1-2. That could make a big difference in their rotation. Craig missed 54 games with that fractured kneecap. 2 men on and 1 out for Henry Sosa. He's thrown 62 pitches. Make it 52 pitches. 32 have been strikes. Slider just off the edge. And it's 2-2.
John Mozeliak, the general manager of the Cardinals, actually called Alan Craig before they announced the Lance Berkman signing for next year. Lance signing here just a couple of weeks ago for 2012. And Mozeliak called Craig and said, look, we've signed Lance, but you're going to get your at-bats. Didn't want him to be blindsided.
And now a wild pitch. Gets the runners up to second and third. That slider veering away and Toll's late shifting his weight. So Freese goes to third and Berkman to second on ball 3 to Craig.
Yeah, he overthrew this one a little bit, really yanked it, and JR not able to get out behind it and knock it down.
Yadier Molina's on deck. That's quite a phone call, though.
Yeah, I think that's a good play.
It really is.
Smart play by the general manager.
Very good reassurance for a young guy who's trying to establish himself. All back.
Well, and it also saves the general manager some headaches, too, because if he announces the deal and then the press runs to Craig and they say, hey, what do you think about Cardinals bringing Berkman back? Looks like you're not going to get any playing time again next year. And, you could see the kid, hey, I'm not wanted here, blah, blah, blah. And, so you explain it beforehand. Here's the deal. We still think highly of you. You're going to get plenty of at-bats. So you kind of just put that all to rest before you make the announcement.
Yeah. Foul ball rattled around off Tolles. Pittsburgh 1, Milwaukee nothing. They're in the bottom of the third. Ross Ohlendorf on the mound for the Pirates. Ron Renicky rested Ryan Braun last night. Braun had a pinch hit in the game, but Braun is playing the final 2 games. And Renicky saying in an article today, we have to win these games. I think it's very important for us to have home field advantage. Well, really, because they are so much better at home than on the road. They're going to have to go all out to get that.
Based on the numbers, it would mean more to them than probably any other team.
Now ball 4 loads the bases. And the Cardinals have this opportunity with 2 walks and a single. And it's Molina batting.
Double plays in order, Brownie.
Yeah, it is. And you know how they hit into those.
Yeah. They lead the world in that category.
By the way, Boots checked the major league record. It was set by Boston, 174. Double plays grounded into, so it doesn't look like the Cardinals will get the major league record.
How many do they have?
But they'll come close. Well, we're going to have to check.
Was that the Jim Rice Boston Red Sox?
No, it was not. 1990 version. Molina on appeal, checks his swing. There's ball 1. The Cardinals last night were 3 for 13 with runners in scoring position. They stranded 9 runners. They lost it 5-4 and 10. Tony La Russa said, hey, we had our opportunities. We played hard. Give credit to the other team. Said the effort was there. Cardinals have hit into 169 on the ground. They're 5 away. They could get there, JD.
they could put their minds to it.
They really could.
Yeah.
2-0. And Molina last night drew those 3 walks, had the double, and now in this number 6 spot in the order. Very important at bat in this game, trailing 5-0.
Very important at bat, and a very important pitch in this at bat as he's sitting there 2-0. He's going to be looking dead red here.
Hits it in the air, and that's out into right center field, landing for a hit. That'll score the lead runner Freeze, and the throw comes into Tolles. It's 5-1 on an RBI single by Molina.
Really didn't get very good wood on it for a 2-0 bases loaded fastball, and that speaks to the movement that Sosa has on his heater. Good lively fastball running in on Molina. Could just as easily have been a lazy pop-up, but it finds real estate out there in shallow right center.
RBI number 65 for Molina. Now it's Schumacher. Cardinals as a team are hitting 373 with the bases loaded. Schumacher grounded out to Brad Wallace. Punto's on deck. Now there's somebody warming up in the Astros bullpen. David Carpenter. Ball 1. And lefty Mark Zepchinski is at work for the Redbirds. If the Cardinals win the wild card, they will be playing the Phillies in the first round. Jamie Quirk indicating David Carpenter is ready. Now it is 2-0. Still relatively early, but the Astros may need to apply a tourniquet here. In the air, and that's to left center field. A long run for Schuck. That ball's going to be in for extra bases off the bullpen wall. At least 2 will score. Now Jose Oquendo's trying to make it a 3-run double, and it is with Molina scoring. And now the Cardinals have come firing out in the 4th inning to make it a 1-run Houston lead. 5-4 as Schumacher drives in 3 with a double.
We talked about it last night. The Cardinals just have so much depth or length in their lineup, up and down, solid hitters. Schumacher doesn't hit a lot of home runs, but he hits a lot of doubles. He hits for a high average, and he really gets through this fastball. Schuck playing relatively shallow, had a long way to go. Good read there by Molina.
It really was.
Allowing him to come all the way around to score from first base.
Double switch here. Humberto Quintero has come into this game, as well as the new pitcher. We'll be back with a 5-4 Houston lead right after this.
Frank Shields, he's here with his granddaughter Tish and Gary, and Frank is celebrating his 101st birthday. And Tish, I know this was important to you to bring your grandfather out here, and why is that?
Because he's just a very special person to me. He raised me majority of my life, and I love him.
And Frank, you and I have been talking, and let's first tell us who your favorite Astro of all time is.
I don't quite understand.
Your favorite Astro, your favorite player.
Now, in the game now?
Ever.
Ever?
Ever.
I don't know. Old Bob Watson was good. Can you remember him?
I don't, but I know who you're talking about. He also told me he liked Craig Biggio.
He had that club by himself for about 3 or 4 years. He left there and went to the Yankees.
You got quite the memory. Frank also told me that his secret to this longevity is hard work. Obviously,
It was good. I don't know which one of them boys was the best.
Hey, you're still thinking about it, though, aren't you?
Yeah.
All right. Well, Frank, happy birthday to you. Happy 101st birthday. This is for you. Tish, thank you for bringing him out here.
Thank you so much.
All right. Happy birthday, guys. A true Astro fan. He told me he goes all the way back to the Buffs. He liked Ken Caminiti, loved Craig Biggio, and doesn't know a whole lot about these guys out here, but enjoys coming out when he can.
Very good, Patty. Thanks.
Impressive. Happy birthday, Frank.
Happy birthday, Frank. David Carpenter, another former Cardinal farmhand, comes into this game with a 1-run lead now. Nick Punto has a 2-1 count. With Schumacher at second base and 1 out here in inning number 4.
Well, settle in, folks.
Carpenter worked a scoreless inning Saturday against the Rockies in the extra inning game. That's fouled away. He was traded in the Pedro Feliz deal to the Astros, and a converted catcher.
Wow, Frank.
Trevino.
Wow, wow. The hazards of the job.
He's getting buzzed.
I think it's good luck to let a hummingbird nestle in your ear.
There's a photo of that hummingbird in the morning paper.
That same bird.
I think so.
What a legend.
He's trapped in here. Punto fouls it back.
It's like the black cat ran it by the dugout at Chase Stadium for the Cubs in '69.
Well, isn't it a red-crested hummingbird? That was the one this morning in the paper. David Carpenter is 1-3 with a 3.24 ERA. Maybe it's an omen.
Yeah, I don't know if there's any luck attached to the presence of a hummingbird. Good luck, bad luck, or otherwise, but we'll make it up if need be.
That's pulled into right field. A late start for Schumacher. He'll only get to third. As the throw comes into Wallace, a single for Punto, and the Cardinals' big inning continues.
Mr. Boggs will take a seat. And looks like Corey Patterson, the veteran, is going to come up and pitch hit. And Schumacher has to freeze to make sure that ball is going to get through, and because it was hit so sharply, no chance for him to score. Jose Kendo is not going to be quite as bold, sending base runners home on Brian Bogasevic with that throw he made earlier in the ball game, especially with 1 out.
Well, former Chicago Cub, Baltimore Oriole, and he's played with other teams as well. Corey Patterson, picked up during this season by the Redbirds, has a 157 average with the Cardinals for 51 at bats. No homers, 3 runs batted in. Pinch hitting 1 for 18. Patterson has only grounded into 1 double play in those 51 at bats. Good speed. Double play situation. Patterson, first round pick of the Cubs from the Atlanta, Georgia area. Jimmy Paredes in tight at third base. Cardinals have scored 4 times. They have 3 hits and 2 walks in the inning. Patterson looks at it. It's ball 1. Corey's 32 years old. His father Don was a pro football player for the Detroit Lions and the New York Giants, a defensive back. He fouls that one.
Corey's been one of those guys that clubs have tried him at the top of the order because of his speed, but he strikes out a lot and he doesn't walk very much. That's always held him back.
He is 0 for his last 10. He played against the Astros when they went to Toronto, and then he was a part of that big multiplayer trade coming to St. Louis. Fouls that one away.
I'm not sure, but I think Tampa Bay just turned a triple play last inning.
Whoa.
I just peeked up at the television set we have here in the booth, and I think I caught the tail end of it.
Rays are coming up in the bottom of the 7th inning, trailing the Yankees 3-2. Rafael Soriano now pitching for the Yanks. He's had a rough year. Snap throw to first by Quintero. Diving back in. Punto. It was a double switch, so Quintero's in the 9th spot in the order. He'll be up first in the bottom of the 4th inning. And Carpenter in the number 8 position. Patterson was the 3rd player drafted in the '98 draft. Oh, it almost hit him. It's a full count now for Carpenter. David has only pitched once against the Redbirds this season.
Patterson, a career .252 hitter with a on-base percentage of .290. So that speaks to the lack of plate discipline. Got a little pop. He's hit 118 career home runs.
He tops a 3-2 pitch foul into the Astro dugout. Phillies 7, Braves nothing after 8 in Atlanta. The Cardinals have a golden opportunity to move into a tie for the wild card lead. Atlanta's magic number 2. That's ball 4. Patterson takes a pinch walk. The bases are loaded again, and it's John Jay, the 9th Cardinal to bat in the inning.
That is the 2nd walk Patterson has drawn in a Cardinal uniform. Just the 17th walk all year for Corey.
Now Quintero out to the mound. It's John Jay 0 for 2. Jake Westbrook went 2 1/3. He gave up 7 hits, 5 runs with 1 walk, 2 strikeouts.
I point that out only to preserve my reputation, because I just got talking about how he never walks, and he walked.
He did, but not very often.
My less than sterling reputation was on the line. I had to come up with some numbers in a hurry to support it.
Now bases loaded, 1 out, and Jay with strike 1. Mitchell Boggs went 2/3 of an inning with no hits, no runs, no walks, and 1 strikeout. David Freese is on deck. Red Sox 7, Orioles 4. They've played 6 in Baltimore. Adam Jones hit his 25th home run. Matt Wieters number 22 earlier. Fly ball out to center. Shuck backing up. Tying runner, scoring at 3rd, and on the tag also the runner at 2nd moves over. And now the throw gets loose, and on into second base goes Patterson. It's a 5-5 game. Jay ties it with a sac fly, giving him his 37th run batted in, scoring Schumacher. Punto sprints to 3rd. Then when the throw gets away, Patterson takes 2nd.
Yeah, and from that depth where JB caught the ball, that throw probably should have just come into second base. Because you're not going to make a play on Punto going to 3rd, and you want to keep that back runner out of scoring position.
Now Shuck draws an error, his first, with the throw getting away. And now Brocail out to the mound. It's a brand new start here in the 4th inning. The Cardinals have come back from a 5-0 deficit. They have runners at 2nd and 3rd, and Freese is the batter. The inning started with a leadoff walk to him. He also has a single. The Redbird fans, red clad, sitting behind their dugout, were all stirred up when that tying run scored.
We are in the top half of the 4th. There's been 10 runs scored on 13 hits in this ball game.
Carpenter deals ball 1.
As they say in Canada, a lot of offense.
Swing and a miss there, and it's a 1-ball 1-strike count to Freese. Henry Sosa went 3 1/3 innings, allowing 5 hits, 5 runs, walking 2, fanning 1.
Going along nicely through 3, and then struggled with his command. The walks really hurting him here in the 4th.
One and 2. The Cardinals at one point were 10.5 games back of Atlanta as late as August 25th. If Tony La Russa's club finishes in a dead heat with the Braves, they have a 1-game playoff in St. Louis on Thursday. Cardinals are trying to put together one of their best 20-game runs to finish the season in club history. Freese goes down swinging. And in the 4th inning, things got stirred up here in the ballpark. Frank Trevino got attacked by a hummingbird, and the Cardinals also attacked with 5 runs in the 4th to tie this game 5-5. Al Smith, born in 1933. Lil Wayne, Steve Kerr, Mike Schmidt, Frank Shields, just interviewed there by Patty Smith. And Giuseppe Piano, who's he?
He's a noted Italian philosopher, credited with the development of logic. Normally you think of the Greeks with logic, but Piano brought his own special brand of thinking to Italian logic.
Mark Zepchinski with an 0-3 record, 8 holds and a 3.92 ERA, comes in here in the bottom of the 4th.
And it's also Meatloaf's birthday.
Didn't know that.
He's your age, Brownie.
Oh, poor guy.
You've held up a lot better than Meat.
What's Meat doing these days anyway? Do we know?
Who knows? I think he was on some reality show a couple of years ago.
Okay.
Donald Trump show.
Foul ball by Humberto Quintero. Zepchinski came in the multiplayer deal from the Toronto Blue Jays. And he's helped to bolster the left side of the Cardinal bullpen. He's pitched quite a bit.
Pretty good.
Up the middle, it rolls to the backhand side for Schumacher, who gets the throw on to Pujols, 1 out. By the way, another note on Tal Smith. He is the only member of the organization who was a part of the franchise when it began in 1962 as the Colt 45s. This is his 54th year as a Major League Baseball executive. Tal Smith.
Just absolutely on top of things. Got great stories. Boy, just a walking encyclopedia of baseball history. Certainly Astros history.
You bet. And strike one to J.B. Schock. He's hit the ball in the air to center field twice. And he could not avoid a swing there. He got the bat started at strike 2. The injury that forced Matt Holliday from the game was that right hand injury again, the middle finger, a tendon at the base of that finger that had been bothering him. Schock swings at it and he's down on strikes. 2 outs. Both bullpens coming into play very early in this one. Zepchinski has pitched twice against the Astros, once in Toronto, once in St. Louis. A total of 3 shutout innings against Houston. 5th round pick by the Blue Jays in 07. He's 26. From Yorba Linda, California. He went to Cal Riverside. Altuve reached on an infield hit and scored. He's 1 for 2. And there's ball 1. The Astros have a complement of left-handed hitters in the lineup today. Schock, Bogusevic, Wallace, switch hitter Paredes. Ground ball into left field. Altuve gets his 2nd hit of the night.
Part of the order so far tonight. Bogusevic 1 out of 2, a double and a run. Carlos 1 for 1 plus the intentional walk. He scored twice. Brett Wallace with a big swing of the bat driving in 2.
Bogusevic doubled and scored in that 4-run 3rd. 1 to Bryant. Carlos Lee on deck. Trevor Miller had been the mainstay in the Cardinal bullpen. Was involved in that trade with Toronto, and he's no longer with the Blue Jays. Zepchinski taking over, and Octavio Dotel, who was the losing pitcher last night, a part of that deal as well, as the Cardinals reshuffled the deck in their bullpen. They've used several different closers this year. It's really been a hunt for late inning relief.
He's awfully tough on lefties. They're hitting just 157 against him.
Altuve takes off. Here's Pujols throwing to the shortstop, and Punto puts the tag on him for the caught stealing to end the 4th inning. No runs a hit, nobody left after 4. Cardinals 5, Astros 5.
Now is Drayton McClain. It's kind of tradition. We kick off the season, and now we're going to wrap up this season. And Drayton, I know this one is a little bit unusual, a little bit different from you all the way from the beginning. Can you just kind of tell me what it's been like for you?
Well, this has been an up and down year, but last night and tonight is kind of like a playoff game. Here the Cardinals are working to get ahead of Atlanta to make the wild card slot. So it's made our game interesting, and when we won the game in the bottom of the 10th inning last night, it felt like, boy, we just had a lot of momentum. The game's interesting tonight, 5-5. So it's hard to accept that the season has just one more game in it.
Yeah, and as you said, a lot of ups and downs. Of course, 100 losses on the season, not something anybody would have anticipated or is finding really any silver linings for. But how have you kind of, gone through this season with obviously, trying to go through a change of ownership, trying to kind of not know where things are standing as you're going through all this?
Well, Patty, I think from the beginning of the season, 1st of April to now, the end of September, we've had a little bit of everything occur. And we had a lot of changes in the players, the way the teams played. But the latter part of the season has been spectacular with some really, really good players. They showed their ability last night and tonight. So we're excited about next year. But this is we're getting a team together. When I bought the team in 1993, that was kind of the Jeff Bagwell and Craig Biggio in that era. And then it was the Lance Berkman, Roy Oswalt era. So we're getting prepared for the next era.
Can you give us, I can't go anywhere without someone asking me about Jim Crane, about the ownership. Can you give us sort of a...
Deep drive going up by Lance Berkman, and that one is in play, and he's got extra bases in with a double. Patty, back to you.
That Lance Berkman boy, he just...
he won't quit, will he?
He won't quit, no. But can you give us sort of an update on where that situation is right now?
Well, that's been ongoing. We announced in May that Jim Crane was going to buy the Houston Astros. He needs approval of Major League Baseball. That's a complex process. He has a number of really outstanding people. What's good about Jim Crane's application is that he has been a very successful businessman in Houston for 27 years. He's got a number of highly successful people that have been involved in business, philanthropy, leadership in Houston, and getting it approved through baseball. So hopefully it'll get done in the next week.
And if it does get done in the next week, and this is indeed your last couple of games, what would you like to say to the fans as you kind of depart?
Well, the thing that your parents always teach you, a thank you. This has been 19 marvelous, fun years, not only for me, but my wife Elizabeth and our 2 sons and their family. And there have been so many great experiences. The best one, though, is being involved with the fans, seeing the happiness and the thrill they have in great games and what's been achieved. And then having Minute Maid Park here, this is going to be a ballpark that's going to be one of the top ballparks for the next 50 years.
And is that what you'll miss most, is your interaction with the fans and being out here?
Absolutely. And you, Patty.
That's what I was hoping you'd say.
I've enjoyed, talking with you, and we go through all of the events, and that's been exciting. But interacted, I spent every night, again tonight, just wandering through talking to people. And we have the best fans in the world.
Well, regardless of what happens one way or the other, thank you again for another great season and for just all the accessibility and all that you bring to the fans and the city of Houston.
Thank you. It's been an honor.
Thank you, Drayton. Bill?
Thanks, Patty. 5-5 game. Lance Berkman with a 1-out double. At second for Alan Craig. He has a 1-2 pitch coming from David Carpenter. Molina's on deck. And there's a swing and a strikeout. 2 outs.
I mentioned earlier that I thought Tampa had turned to triple play. They indeed did. It was a bases loaded triple play they turned.
Now they've scored 3 times in the 7th.
It was in the 6th where they turned the triple play. Then Matt Joyce hit a big home run in the bottom half of the 7th.
It's now gone final in Atlanta. Phillies lead win at 7-1. Braves are 9-17 this month. And the Cardinals can tie them for the wild card spot if they win this game. Molina drove in a run in the 5-run 4th. He's 1 for 2. Strike to Molina. And the Cardinals, to their credit, trailing 5-0 in this tense situation in which hitters sometimes find it more difficult to excel, have done that. Put together that 5 spot in the 4th with the help of some walks in that inning, and the biggest hit, the 3-run double by Schumacher. That one pulled them to within 1, and the John Jay sac fly tied it. Tampa Bay leads 5-3 over the Yankees after 7. Rolled slowly. Clint Barmas in. Plays it over to Brad Wallace to end the 5th for St. Louis with no runs a hit and a runner stranded. It's tied 5-5.
Astros Alumni Golf Tournament. That will be Wednesday, November 9th. Spend an afternoon playing golf with Astro players, alumni, and personnel for a great cause. Visit astros.com/golf to register for details.
It's some kind of a, oh my, violence in super slow motion. Foxmo showing you the, what do they call those? Sauce packets?
Yeah, sauce packets. Brawling on the field again. Brian Bogusevic with ball 1 is 1 for 2 in this game. He was at the plate when Jose Altuve was thrown out on that pickoff throw. Bogusevic had doubled and scored in the Astros 4-run third when they took the 5-0 lead. It almost clipped him.
You know, in a situation like that, if we talk about how tough Jabzinski was on left-handed hitters, and really tough to expect an extra base hit, so you're trying to steal there to get into scoring position. But if you don't, then you make it very easy, or potentially very easy, for him in the next inning with a left-handed hitter leading off the inning. That's the downside to trying to steal there.
2-1. Carlos Lee on deck. Brad Wallace due up third. Zepchinski usually doesn't stay in games very long.
Had he gotten Bogusevic to end the last inning as opposed to Altuve on the attempted steal, he may not still be in the ball game. But now he's got 2 out of 3 hitters due up in this inning, left-handed. Bogusevic, Lee, then Wallace.
Missing there. He's at 3-2 in the count. Red Sox 8, Orioles 4, top of the 8th. Red Sox have scored, and they're still batting with 1 out. Up the middle, Zepchinski has to get out of the way. That's sharp single by Bogusevic. He's 2 for 3.
Very nice at bat.
Greg?
Lots of action. Let's take a look at our game summary. The Astros scored 4 in the 3rd. The first 2 coming in on Wallace with a 2-run single. And then Paredes, who was the very next hitter, hit one a ton, and that unloaded the bases There were 2 runners on. He brought them both home. The Astros had 4 runs in the inning, and at that time took a 5-0 lead, but it didn't take long for the Cardinals. This is Molina with an RBI that drove in a run, and Schumacher with a booming triple that drove in 3. Cardinals got a sacrifice fly to tie the game at 5, and that's where we stand with Bogey at first and Lee at the plate. Brownie?
And Lee just took ball 1. Thanks, Greg. And he has a single and an intentional walk. He scored 2 runs in this game. Quinto and Schumacher set up to turn a couple. But it's another wide one, and it's 2 balls, no strikes. Molina out to the mound. Westbrook, the starter, went 2 1/3, giving up 7 hits, 5 earned runs. Boggs worked 2/3 of an inning. Zepchinski is pitching to his 5th batter. 8-4 is Boston's lead at Baltimore, including a Jacoby Ellsbury 32nd home run of the year. They're in the 8th inning. Tampa Bay, meanwhile, turned that triple play and has the lead 5-3 on the Yankees in the bottom of the 8th. David Robertson pitching for the Yankees in that game now. 2-1.
You got to start thinking it's your time, right? When you start turning bases loaded triple plays.
Yes, that's a good sign.
As Charlie Kerfeld said, we are a team of destination.
It's 3-1 now to El Caballo.
Zepchinski with pretty good command of that fastball, trying to paint that outside corner down around the knees. Go right back out there either with the fastball or the changeup.
And he walked him.
Took a little off. Carlos has shown a very discerning eye here in the last month or so.
Yeah.
Walking more than really more than ever before. The walk rate for him over the last month has been pretty darn impressive.
He now has 59 walks and 60 strikeouts for the season. Excellent balance.
Never been a guy who's walked much, but he doesn't strike out a lot either.
Carlos has had 580 at bats this year. Zepchinski was a starter for Toronto in 09 and again last year. 12 starts last year and 11 the year before. When he faced the Astros in relief in Toronto May 22nd this year, gave up a double to Brad Wallace, who's the batter now. Wallace drove in 2 with that single we saw a moment ago after striking out in the 2nd against Westbrook. Redis on deck. Showing bunt.
Tough lefty on the hill. Mills wants to put a sacrifice bunt down. Lilliquist, the acting pitching coach, Dave Duncan, is away from the ball club right now.
There are stories that Dave's going to visit the ball club here tomorrow. He's been taking care of his ailing wife. Lilliquist out to talk with the lefty reliever. Meanwhile, Eduardo Sanchez is warming up, the right-hander. Wallace this season for the Astros is hitting .189 with runners in scoring position in 74 at bats. Prior to his 2-run single in the 3rd inning. 1 sacrifice bunt. The Astros pulled off a couple of excellent bunts last night to get runners home. And he takes that one. 2-0. Will the bunt stay on? Brad Mills may turn him loose here. Redis on deck. The Astros had 9 hits to the Cardinals 7. 2 Houston errors compared to none for St. Louis.
A lot of times when you're up there trying to bunt, you get into a count like this, you just know the pitcher's got to throw it over the fat part of the plate, so you let the hitter swing the bat.
Still bunting, and he fouls it.
A lot of that is defensive too. I think you don't turn them loose if your priority is to stay out of the double play, and I think that's what Mills is thinking right now. Brett hits the ball on the ground a lot.
He's grounded in at 12 double plays this year.
I think what Mills is thinking, even if he doesn't get the bunt down, at least I still got 2 men on base and 1 out with Paredes coming up. It's kind of defensive thinking, but you tend to think that way when you've lost 105 ball games. 104, excuse me.
Not that we're counting. 3 balls and a strike. Detroit 8, Cleveland 4. Top of the 6th in Detroit. Reds are batting in the top of the 9th at Citi Field, trailing the Mets 4-3. Joey Votto hit his 29th. Jay Bruce number 32. A big night for Jose Reyes, who's trying to win the batting title. He's hit a couple of homers for the Mets. Wallace takes a walk. The bases are loaded with nobody out for Paredes.
How about that? Up there, willing to give himself up. Chipsinski can't find the strike zone.
Tony La Russa's club, which has fought back from a 5-0 deficit to tie at 5-5, now facing Jimmy Paredes, who's 2 for 2. Driving in a couple with that 3rd inning triple. And Paredes, a switch hitter, now batting from the right side. He's the .222 hitter this season as a right-handed batter for 36 at bats in the major leagues. Fouls it back, strike 1. And Paredes has not hit nearly as well the last couple of weeks right-handed as he had been. Jose Reyes 2 for 4 tonight with those 2 homers, hitting .335 as he tries to become the first Met to win a batting title.
Chico Escuela never won a batting title for the Mets. Came close a couple of times.
0-2.
I think Cleon Jones came close one.
I believe you're right, yeah.
Maybe 3rd.
Cincinnati's just tied it with a 9th inning run, 4-4. So Reyes may have more at bats coming. Paredes started the bat, then he stopped it. It's 1-2 to him now with Barmas on deck. Third time the Astros have hit with the bases loaded in this game.
Good game fact right there, baby.
Wallace delivered a 2-run single. Bounce to short. Double play ball here. Quinto and Schumacher turn 2. And the Astros get a run to take the lead 6-5. Close play at first, but Paredes bounced into the twin killing 6-4-3. So no RBI.
Ouch, that hurts. Well, let's take a look at a pitch by pitch here. The left-hander Jabzinski, a little hanging changeup, but he got away with it. Good one there, breaking ball down and in. Little floater off the outside, then rolls over, and here comes your double play. Paredes can really run. Boy, he made it close.
He did.
Very close. Could have gone either way, I would argue.
Barmas is 1 for 2. Wesley Wright's been warming up. Now Chris Johnson's on deck. Strike 1. Pitcher spot due up next.
That's that old adage. Tie goes to the team that's in the wild card chase.
Milwaukee 4, Pittsburgh 2. Bottom of the 5th inning at Miller Park. Prince Fielders hit 2 homers. Foul tip there, and it's 0-2. Fielder now has 37 home runs. Ricky Weeks chimed in with number 20. Milwaukee getting him ready for the playoffs. Barma strikes out, and the Astros had the bases loaded, nobody out. They scored 1 run on 1 hit, left a man at third. They grabbed the lead again by 1, 6-5 after 5.
FB, everybody on. By Gullo Automotive, treating you like family. And by Jack in the Box. For a limited time, Jack's Really Big Chicken Combo is back for only $3.99 plus tax at participating restaurants. Now back up to the booth. This Astros 6-5 lead. Here is Bill Brown and Jim DeShays.
Thank you, Greg Lucas. Crazy game tonight. The Astros had a 5-0 lead. Cardinals tied it with 5 in the 4th inning. Now the Astros have grabbed the lead again with a 5th inning run on a double play ball. We go to the 6th inning. David Carpenter came in a double switch, and now he's due to lead off the bottom of the 6th inning. So Brad Mills is going to try to get a little more work out of him with Schumacher, who had the 3-run double in the 4th inning, 1 for 2, leading it off. Henry Sosa, the Houston starter, went 3 1/3, allowing 5 hits, 5 runs. Strike 1 to Schumacher. Last inning, Carpenter gave up a 1-out double to Berkman, but then got Craig and Molina. Schumacher on a foul tip falls behind 0-2. Skip went to UC Santa Barbara. David Carpenter from Morgantown, West Virginia. Catcher at West Virginia University. It's out to center field. A long drive. Schuck backing on it. Turning. 1 out.
Yeah, a little more room to operate out there, and straight away center field. Schumacher put a charge in it, but Schuck able to track it down. 2 very good swings of the bat, though, by Schumacher. Make the catch, find the hill. Got to save your dignity. You don't want to go toppling backwards after making that play.
No. Still a lot of baseball to be played this season, JD.
Hours and hours of baseball.
Adron Chambers is in the on-deck circle to pinch hit for the pitcher next. Zepchinski due up. Carpenter throws a low pitch. Looked like a fringe pitch, but Dana DeMuth went on the ball one side of the call. Punto's 2 for 2.
Because there are no lingering questions anymore. Cleon Jones finished 3rd in the batting race in 1969, rather.
Whoa, the bat takes off over the Astros dugout.
Oh, there goes the popcorn and the beer. But everybody's okay. Saying, it's okay, son. It hit you in the right spot, right in the coconut. Boom.
Tumbling bat.
Oh,
over
the
there.
beer on the head. That's beautiful.
You're enjoying this,
oh,
aren't
this
you?
is fun. Watch this. Check watch where her beer goes. And we're not going to see it on that shot.
No. 1-1 to Punto. On that slow-mo replay, you can see Punto's follow through.
There we go. Kicking and the gouging and the mud and the blood and the beer.
Oh, yeah.
There it is. Boom. This part's for you.
And a swing and a miss for Punto. Makes it 1-2. Yeah, the young man got wet. But he got a bat.
Fair trade. Hope he's not driving. He's get pulled over. Don't give me that, kid. You were drinking.
No, officer, I was at a baseball game. I got hit by a bat.
Yeah, he's going to have to produce this. Let me see the bat. Prove it. It's a Nick Punto model. Wasn't Nick Punto? Never heard of him. He's a pretty good little utility player. He's been around a long time. Came up with the Twins.
Really, it was the 6th inning, and it was 6-5, and this bat came flying, and this lady failed to catch it and spilled her beer on me. All the way, still 2-2 on Punto. Chambers on deck. Roy Oswalt won that game for Philadelphia 7-1 at Atlanta. He finishes the regular season 9-10. He went 6 shutout innings, winding up with a 3.69 ERA. Derek Lowe lost it. He's 9-17 with a 5.05.
And really struggling down the stretch. Derek Lowe, of course, the whole Braves club.
They've had those 2 tough starting pitching injuries.
Well, somebody was saying down on the batting cage this afternoon that the Braves were so dispirited that they didn't even bother tuning into this game in the clubhouse after their game. It was like, didn't want to watch.
Somebody said that Tim Hudson was about the only one there when the game ended. Strike 3. Punto caught looking, and the story we heard was that Tim Hudson predicted the safety squeeze that won the game.
Well, he saw Dotel's effort on the first bunt.
Okay.
Probably said, do it again.
3rd strikeout for Carpenter.
And, you know, everybody talks about, well, if they win, they've backed in. Well, so, I mean,
okay,
got 89 wins. That's enough. That's a pretty good year.
Adron Chambers, 2 for 7 as a major leaguer, has driven in 4. He came in last night as a pinch runner for Lance Berkman at second base in the 8th inning when the Cardinals had tied the game with a Berkman double.
I don't think 89 is going to get it done. I think they're going to have to win at least 90. They would, because if these 2 teams both lose out, or if the Cardinals win 1, then there'd be a playoff.
Chambers puts one out into right center field, and he can scoot. Bogusevic over to play it into second base. Nice play to hold him to a single. The right fielder way over in the gap, almost in straightaway center when he got to that ball. Chambers on with a pinch single. He might be taking off.
We talked earlier about how difficult it is for an outfielder to throw accurately when moving laterally, but here's a great example of a guy getting it done. Bogusevic running hard to his right and then able to turn, pivot, and throw a strike to second base.
Well, it's a nice athletic play, forcing Chambers back to first. Hit number 8 for the Redbirds. Bogusevic keeping that force in order, keeping Chambers out of scoring position for Jay. Jay's 0 for 2 with a sac fly. Time called. It's a long outing for Carpenter, too, as it was for Zepchinski compared to the normal pattern in which they're used by their managers. Carpenter's thrown 40 pitches now. Now back off the screen by John Jay. There's strike 1. And David usually pitches 1 inning at a time. He's been piling up the appearances this year as well with the longer major league season. This is his 67th professional appearance this year. And smacked on the line. Bogusevic there to grab it. And Carpenter gets through 2 2/3 innings in relief of Sosa. And he pitched scoreless baseball. He'll be leaving for a pinch hitter. The beer has left. And it's a 1-run Houston lead, 6-5.
proud to support youth baseball leagues in your local community. If you'd like to learn more about Chevy youth baseball programs, go to youthsportswired.com. We're going to learn about yet another pitcher for the Cardinals. Browning.
Pitcher number 4 of the night, Eduardo Sanchez, comes in, and it's a 1-run Houston lead. David Carpenter will be leaving the game for the Astros after pitching very capably. Sanchez is 2-1. He has 5 saves on 7 opportunities to go with a 1.88 ERA.
Just off the 60-day disabled list. Earlier in the year, when healthy, was pitching very well. Cardinals have had bullpen issues all year long, starting with Ryan Franklin, the veteran who was their closer at the start of the season. A job he has held for the previous couple of years, but Franklin got off to a miserable start, never got things going, was ultimately released. So the bullpen's been a bit of a mishmash for the Cardinals this year, but this kid, when healthy, really pitched well. He's just 22 years of age. He's got a great arm.
Facing pinch hitter Chris Johnson, 253, 7 homers, 42 runs batted in. Batting for David Carpenter here in the 6th. Here's strike 1 to CJ, who's been playing well here in the month of September. Sanchez, as JD mentioned, has been on that 60-day disabled list. This is his first major league appearance since June 12th against Milwaukee. 1 ball, 1 strike to Johnson. Johnson's been getting some starts at third and pinch hitting. 3 for 5 with a homer as a pinch hitter.
Whoa. All moved like a wiffle ball.
It sure did. 2 balls and a strike. Yeah, had that sideward movement. Just took off. Sanchez from Venezuela, signed as a free agent in 05, now 22. He's out with right shoulder and upper back problems. CJ looks at it. It's 2-2. Had a recent 6-game hitting streak, going 8 for 14, including a homer and 4 runs batted in for Chris. He'll play some winter ball. Go to the Dominican in December. Strike 3 call. It's out number 1.
Gets a lot of his outs via the strikeout. Here he just freezes CJ with that breaking ball. 33 punch outs, make it 34 now, and 29 innings of big league work this year. Walked 16, which is a pretty high number for 29 innings of work, but he's only allowed 14 hits. Do that, walks really don't hurt you much.
Humberto Quintero entered the game in a double switch, inning grounded out in his first at bat in the 4th. Strike 1, and Ariel Del Rosario warming up for Houston. No balls, 2 strikes. Sanchez is making his 5th appearance against the Astros this season. Gave up 2 runs in his first appearance. That was back on April 27th here. But he got a save. He gets a strikeout, and he's whiffed 2 in a row. Zepchinski in 2 innings allowed 2 hits, 1 run, walking 2, fanning 2.
Well, at least you can say he went down swinging.
He did. David Carpenter at 2 2/3 innings allowed 3 hits, no runs, no walks, 3 strikeouts.
Not a big guy, Sanchez. 5'11", $170.
J.B. Shuck is 0 for 3. Altuve on deck. Strike 1 call. Top foul, and it's an 0-2 count.
Final in Tampa. Rays beat the Yanks 5-3. Baltimore staging a bit of a comeback. They've scored 2 in the bottom of the 8th. It is now 8-6 Boston. And the Rays are in that clubhouse screaming and cheering and cajoling the Orioles. They love the Orioles in Tampa.
At least temporarily, yes. Bouncer to shortstop. Punto. Low throw after a hesitation, and he still got the out on shot. After 6, it's 6-5. The Astros lead the Cardinals.
Seventh, you know this is football season too around the state of Texas, and FoxSportsHouston.com brings you high school football every Saturday night. This Saturday at 6 p.m. it'll be Pearland taking on Clear Creek. Join us all season long as Fox Sports Houston is your home for high school football in Texas. Online, FoxSportsHouston.com. Brownie?
Thanks, Greg. 1-run lead for the Astros. Pitcher number 3 comes in. He is right-hander Enario Del Rosario. Del Rosario with an 0-2 record of 4.13 ERA. Pitched 1 hitless, scoreless inning last night.
19 of his last 22 appearances have been scoreless. And he works now for the 54th time. 0-2, 4.13 the ERA. Freeze, Pujols, Berkman, the scheduled batters.
There's strike 1 to Freeze, who's been on twice with a single and a walk. He batted twice in the Cardinals' 5-run 4th inning. It's 1-1. Red Sox with that 8-6 lead you mentioned. After 8 at Baltimore, have used Bedard for 3 1/3, Aceves for 3 2/3, and Bard for 1 inning. Fly ball to right, Bogusevic. 1 out. So now normally it would be Papelbon time. They're batting though first of all in the top of the 9th inning. But Papelbon really threw a lot 2 nights ago. Now Pujols. Albert 0 for 3 tonight. Enario Del Rosario's 6th appearance against the Cardinals this year. There's ball 1. He's allowed 4 earned runs in 5 2/3 innings against the Redbirds. Two balls, no strikes. Mark Melanson is not here tonight. He pitched 2 innings last night. His wife welcomed a bouncing baby daughter, Brooklyn Marie Melanson, into the world this afternoon. Mary Catherine enjoying that. Whoa, Pujols swings at it and is hit. That's going to be a strike. But he's in pain.
Yeah, and this kind of goes back to what we were talking about earlier with Pujols. Struck out in the fourth, chasing a bad ball. He went after a bad ball in an RBI situation last night. Now he swings at a ball that hits him on 2-0 because he's just thinking, I'm looking for something he can hit out of the ballpark. He's very un-Albert-like to show that lack of discipline at the plate.
Yeah. Barry Weinberg out to help him. Arthur Rhodes is warming up for the Cardinals. Pujols missed 13 games with a fracture in the left radius of the wrist in the other arm. Now his right elbow area really bothering him. He made it back a lot quicker than many people thought he would from that other injury.
Yeah, by a matter of weeks.
He sure did.
You know, if not a month. I mean, it was crazy how quickly he came back.
Now he comes back up with a 2-1 count. Strike. It's like an off-speed pitch on the outside edge. 2-2.
84 miles an hour. Painting with the fine brush.
He really did. Pujols, a liner to left. Carlos Lee over. 2 outs. That pitch got in on him a little bit. Pujols 0 for 4 tonight. Now Lance Berkman. He's 2 for 3. Berkman singled and scored in the 5-run Cardinal fourth. He doubled in the 5th. $22,021 to paid attendance. Berkman fouls it. There's strike 1.
Be careful with that one. That's exactly the message Quintero's going to deliver here.
Berkman came into this game hitting .406 against Houston pitching this year. 5 homers, 14 runs batted in. Red Sox failed to score in the top of the 9th. Daniel Bard's still in there in the bottom of the 9th, leading at Baltimore 8-6. Now they've changed to Papelbon. 1-1. Cincinnati getting a run in the 9th, and the Mets failing to score. They're in the 10th now, tied 4-4. As of last check, both Jose Reyes and Ryan Braun were hitting .335. Alan Craig's on deck. Berkman lines one to left for a hit. 3rd straight hit for Berkman. He's aboard for Craig.
Make it look easy sometimes.
Cardinals have played 8 games here in Houston this year. Berkman has hit in all 8. Craig entered the game for the injured Matt Holliday, and he's walked and struck out. 1 to Craig. Back in 2009, Allen was the St. Louis minor leaguer of the year. Last year he had 114 major league at bats. Hit .320 at AAA Memphis last year. It's 2-0. Went to Cal Berkeley. It's Detroit 9, Cleveland 6. They're in the top of the 7th at Detroit in a slugfest. Miguel Cabrera hit his 30th home run.
Certainly make a case for Cabrera as the American League MVP.
True.
Sometimes you have to fight hard to maintain your focus after you clear the middle of the order. You know, you've got Pujols, Berkman got a knock, and now you move on to Alan Craig. You have to remember that he's dangerous as well.
Miguel Cabrera, by the way, took a 5-point lead in the batting race into play tonight, 343 to Michael Young's 338, and also Adrian Gonzalez 338. Foul back. Now 3-2, and Berkman gets the automatic go at first with 2 outs. Pittsburgh 4, Milwaukee 4. Bottom of the 6th. White Sox are being managed tonight and tomorrow night by pitching coach Don Cooper with the exit of Ozzie Guillen for Florida. Berkman going. There's a liner toward the gap in right center. Berkman will be able to score on this to tie the game 6-6. RBI double for Alan Craig, and it's a 6-6 game. '36th run batted in for Craig.
That's why you don't want to go 3-2 in that situation. Exactly that reason there. The base runner gets a head start, allows him to score on that double, despite the best efforts by Brian Bogasevic. I mean, he was really getting it after it out there, trying to cut this ball off before it could get to the wall. Playing deep to begin with, but just couldn't quite get there in time.
Now Brad Mills comes to the mound. Del Rosario got 2 quick outs, then a single by Berkman, a double by Craig, creating this tie game. Just a little pep talk. Yadier Molina is the batter. Molina is 0 for 2 against Del Rosario. In the 4th inning, he drove in a run with a single. He's 1 for 3 tonight. Schumacher's on deck. It's 10 hits for the Cardinals now, 9 for the Astros. Houston had a 5-0 lead until the Cardinals tied it in the 4th. Then Houston took the lead with a 5th inning run. Now it's tied. Bouncer goes foul. Berkman. Now last night he was lifted for a pinch runner. But I saw him after the game. Said, "Are you okay?" He said, "Yeah, I'm fine." And he showed it there.
Tony La Russa going for a little upgrade, bringing Speedy Chambers in to run for Lance last night. There's 1 extra innings, and Lance's spot came up in the order again. He was probably wishing he hadn't have made that move.
Lance's bat was not there in the 10th inning. But as Lance said, you know, we got a faster guy on at second in Chambers. There was a possible force play at third, so he understood the move completely. 2 balls and a strike.
I mean, it's really good to defend the move, but I think that's one if you're Tony, you go back to your room at night, you might think to yourself, yeah, I might have pulled the trigger a little too quickly there, because there was nobody out when he made the move.
3 balls, 1 strike for Del Rosario. And without Melanson, Brad Mills trying to squeeze a little bit more out of Del Rosario here in the 7th. Wesley Wright was warming up a while back.
He'll be coming in now.
The runners at first and second and 2 outs. Because it's lefty hitting Schumacher coming up. Doug Brocail there on the steps. The Astros relief corps hard pressed Friday night. In the 13th inning, lost to Colorado. Brad Mills used 9 pitchers, and then the Astros got thrashed Sunday 19-3. So here's the move coming up, and we'll be back with it with the score 6-6 in just a moment.
Trade-off. It's all about the trade-off.
Trade-off any coach would make, Patty. Congratulations.
I just assumed in your world he was always coach of the week.
Yeah, David. Congratulations. Wesley Wright with no wins or losses, an ERA of 0.77. Has really been effective. Lefties 1 for 26 against him. And there's going to be a change. Instead of lefty hitting Skip Schumacher, it's going to be righty hitting Ryan Theriot.
Theriot hitting better than 300 against left-handed pitching this year, 304. So even though Schumacher's 3 out of 6 in his career against Wesley Wright, Tony La Russa wants this right-handed bat up there. Wright's success against lefties this year has been obviously very noticeable to opposing managers. I'm sure Tony looked at that and said, man, I don't know what this guy's doing this year, but he's been nails against lefties.
Theriot's hitting 304 against southpaws. Last night, Wright came in to face Lance Berkman with runners at first and second. Nobody out in the 8th inning, and Berkman hit a line drive 2-run double off him. Those were the first runners he has inherited who have scored this season with the Astros for Wesley. Those runs were not charged to him. 1 ball, 1 strike. That was his first blown save of the year, and he's come in for more and more work in situations like this. He is not allowed to run in his 18 appearances since being recalled from AAA on August 20th.
You see the breakdown on Wesley. He's dominating lefties. He hasn't faced a lot of righties.
Line drive right center. The Cardinals will grab the lead. Craig around to score. And now they try to get a second runner home. And here's the throw to the plate, and Molina slides in. Winding up at third base, Ryan Theriot, and the Cardinals have a 2-run lead, 8-6. Theriot rocketed one to the gap in right center field.
And the Cardinals, who struggled with men on base last night, responding in a big way here tonight. Big pinch hit off the bench for Ryan Theriot.
Ruled a 2-run double, and he takes third on the throw to the plate. Okay, they're ruling it a triple now, 2-run triple. And Punto, showing bunt, takes that pitch. They are fired up on the Cardinal bench. They trailed 5-0 after 3. Now they get their lead for the first time, 8-6. Sacra Paredes into the left field corner. 9-6 Cardinals. Punto with his third hit of the night, an RBI double. 18th run batted in for Punto.
Ball by Paredes before he had time to react. Really well struck by Punto. The big inning story of this game.
Now the Cardinals are going to stay with Eduardo Sanchez with a 3-run lead now. He takes ball 1. Del Rosario in 2/3 of an inning allowed 2 hits, 3 runs. He walked 1 with no strikeouts. That's out to right field. Bogusevic waiting. And the Cardinals in the 7th inning rallied with 2 outs and nobody on. Berkman single, Craig RBI double, a walk, a 2-run triple by Terrio, and RBI double by Punto. To the 4-run Cardinal top of the 7th inning, brought to you by United, proud to fly the Houston Astros. The Astros 3, 4, 5 hitters tonight have gone 4 for 6 with 3 walks, 2 runs batted in. They've scored all 5, but the Cardinals put together a major 2-out rally in the 7th inning. 5 straight Cardinals reaching base, and they came up with 4 runs to grab the lead. Now the Astros come up in the bottom of the 7th inning. Altuve, Bogusevic, and Lee do up against Sanchez.
Got him right where we want him, Brownie.
Yeah. Well, you know, in the Astros situation, really not much more to lose. Come out firing. And for the Cardinals now, boy, the important time has arrived. Ryan Terrio stays in to play third after getting that key 2-run pinch triple. But now they have a lead to protect to grab a tie for the wild card lead.
And they have to feel like they let one get away last night, losing an extra inning game, and now if this one slips away from them, that would really hurt. But they've had bullpen issues, as we mentioned earlier, all year long. They've had a hard time closing out games.
26 blown saves for the Redbirds. Sanchez just coming back tonight off the 60-day disabled list with his first major league appearance since June. He had a 1-2-3 sixth inning. Altuve had hits in the third and the fourth. He's 2 for 3. He chops it high. The third baseman Freeze is there. 1 pitch, 1 out for Sanchez. Bogusevic will follow, but Tony La Russa wants a change here. Wants to go lefty on lefty.
Wow, that's interesting. He gave Sanchez that at bat with a man in scoring position to get one more out of him.
It is interesting. Yep. So now it's going to be Arthur Rhodes, the veteran left-hander, coming in. We'll be right back.
Is open all year long. Astros.com is the place. Browse the largest online selection of authentic team gear, including official caps, t-shirts, jerseys, collectibles, and more. Get your team gear straight from the source. Shop Astros.com/shop.
Thank you, Greg. 9-6 score. The Cardinals lead. Arthur Rhodes is 0-1 with a 4.15 ERA in 18 games since joining the Cardinals. Brian Bogusevic has 2 hits and 2 runs scored tonight. One of those hits came off the lefty reliever Zepchinski. He had been 1 for 12 against left-handed pitching prior to that. There's strike 1.
Get Zepchinski, he could get Arthur.
Arthur's 41.
Maybe 42. Well, October 24th is his birthday. Born in Waco, 19 years a big leaguer. Broke in with Baltimore in '91. Was with Texas earlier this year. Not pitched particularly well there.
It's a 2-ball 1-strike count. He breaks a tie with this appearance with Sparky Lyle for 23rd on the all-time list. 900. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Next up on the appearance list, Cy Young. He's 6 behind him now. Now 3-2 to Bogusevic with Carlos Lee on deck, and then Brett Wallace due up if the Astros keep the inning going. Fernando Salas is working in the bullpen. This may be a 1-batter appearance for Rhodes. Well, it's a walk. They do have a 3-run lead, so we'll see how La Russa plays it with Carlos Lee coming up, still not representing the tying run at the plate.
If I'm Tony La Russa, this is the most dangerous hitter in the Astros lineup, the one I'd be most desirous of nullifying. Looks like Tony's going to let Arthur pitch.
Lee's been on all 3 times tonight, a single and 2 walks. Lee is 1 for 3 lifetime with a homer, 2 walks against Arthur Rhodes. Bogusevic draws a throw. He has 4 steals in 6 attempts. Baltimore has scored a run in the bottom of the 9th inning. Boston hanging on to an 8-7 lead. Runner at second and 2 outs. Papelbon on the mound. And time call by El Caballo here.
Tony La Russa from the dugout handling the running game, and he had Arthur throw over once. Now he's having him hold the ball. Maybe trying to buy some time for Salas out there in the pen.
Boston has won at 8-7 in Baltimore. Tampa Bay earlier won 5-3 over the Yankees. They are in a dead heat with 1 game to go.
Another throw over, now a visit.
90 and 71, JD, right there.
Again, you got Tampa's chances the way things have been going. Boston really scuffling, hanging on to win tonight. Who are the pitchers tomorrow?
We're going to check.
Lester coming back on short rest.
Lester's going to pitch, and Simone was down to pitch for Baltimore at last report. The Yankees are probably going to piece it together. Now La Russa comes out to the home plate umpire.
Just buying time there.
David Price goes for Tampa Bay tomorrow night. And here's the La Russa bullpen move. So he has bought sufficient time with the stalling tactics to get a right-hander ready to go. 9-6 the score. St. Louis leading. Back in a moment. The Cardinals trailed 5-0 after 3 tonight, and they were down 6-5. Fernando Salas, who is 5-6 with 24 saves in 30 opportunities, comes in with a runner at first to face Carlos Lee.
So Carlos now will have to face his hard-throwing right-hander, and then Brett Wallace scheduled to follow Carlos.
Salas came in last night, worked 2 scoreless innings.
Yeah, boy, it's go time for these clubs that are in contention. They're asking a little bit extra of all their guys out there in the bullpen. Seventh inning being managed like it were the ninth.
True. Well, Lee with a single and 2 walks ready to go now against Salas. Cardinals set up for a double play with Punto and Terrio. Foul back. There's strike 1 for Salas, pitcher number 6. And Salas got his most recent blown save. That was the game started by Westbrook. And Westbrook's last turn on the mound, he inherited 3 runners and all of them scored. And that 6th blown save of the year for Salas. It's 0-2 here. He pitched well last night, giving up 1 hit. Came in the 7th inning, gave up a hit, and then followed that with a double play ball. So he only faced 6 men. 1-2.
He's been tough to hit this year. League hitting 187 against him. Tough on both right and left-handed hitters. Righty's hitting 166. Left-handed batters 216. He's allowed 7 home runs. It's a really good changeup.
He has 4 of his 24 saves against the Astros in 5 appearances this year. Only giving up 1 run. Covering 6 innings.
Nice night for Brian Bogasevic.
Yes.
2 good at bats against the lefties. Had that double back in the 3rd. Big play in the outfield.
He's really shown a lot this year at the major league level. Liner goes foul. Still 1-2 to Lee. Got out in front of that one. Detroit's batting in the home 8th inning, leading Cleveland 9-6. Mets and Reds are in the bottom of the 11th, tied 4-4. Terry Collins said he was going to leave it up to Reyes somewhat on the starting assignment tomorrow night, depending on that batting title. He would talk with him anyway.
It's painful there, playing 11 innings.
Oh, yeah.
2 teams with nothing to play for.
Broken bat. That one goes foul.
So it's Lester Simone. Is that how you say it?
Yeah, Simone. And Price from Tampa Bay. You don't know who the Yankees are starting.
Let's see here if I can find a probable anyway.
Okay.
Undecided.
Undecided.
He's worked a lot this year.
Quite often.
He's had a pretty good year. Not quite as good as others, but you always find those guys available.
Jose Reyes tonight 3 for 5, 2 homers, a .336 batting average for the season. Carlos takes ball 2.
With the technology today, you can go from at bat to at bat.
Yeah.
You could be having somebody in the clubhouse checking in on the Brewer game. Hey, Bron's 2 for 3. You better stay in the game. Ted Williams just played.
He did. Foul straight back. Good battle here. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Broken bat, couple foul balls. Ryan Braun is 1 for 2 with 2 walks. He's hitting .335, 1 point behind Reyes. They're still playing Milwaukee ahead 6-4 after 7 on Pittsburgh. Out to center field. John Jay. 2 outs. And now Brett Wallace comes up. He had the 2-run bases loaded single in the 3rd and a walk in the 5th. Jimmy Paredes on deck. Salas, pitcher number 6 for Tony La Russa, pitches here. The Cardinals had a 16-11 record in April, but their closer that month, Ryan Franklin, had 4 blown saves in the first 16 games. Wallace looks at ball 1. Salas took over at that point after Mitchell Boggs got some opportunities. Tony has stayed away from anointing a closer lately. 1 ball, 1 strike. Texas 3, the Angels 1. They're in the top of the 3rd in Anaheim. Ian Kinsler hit his 32nd home run. Wallace takes that one. It's 2-1. Dodgers and Arizona are scoreless after 4 in the desert. Strike makes it 2-2. That's a big call. Big call.
Oh, now.
Mark Burley won for the White Sox 2-1 over Toronto, his 13th win. Ozzie Guillen ought to bring some spice to South Florida. 3-2. Now an automatic go for Bogusevic at first. Pujols backs up to play behind him. Florida won tonight with a run in the bottom of the 9th inning, beating Washington 3-2. Marlins had interviewed a couple of managerial prospects. Bo Porter was one of them. Foul ball with Bogusevic going. One of their own coaches got an interview before they reached that deal to acquire Ozzie from the White Sox for 2 minor leaguers. Now, you know, there are rumors circulating they might be opening the checkbook to acquire some big time talent to move into that new stadium next year in Miami.
They don't have to now. They got Ozzie.
You're right.
A new ballpark in Ozzie. That's all they need to sell tickets.
Should do it. Swing and a miss. He struck him out to end the 7th inning. No runs, no hits, and a man stranded. 9-6 Cardinals after 7.
A 5-0 lead, but I think the one thing that I get from the atmosphere, not only in the dugout but also behind me with the fans, is they really are appreciating the fact the Astros are going down hard against this team that's battling for a spot in the playoffs and are giving the Cardinals all they want. And of course it's not over yet, because if the Cardinals win they would be tied And tomorrow would be the deciding factor whether or not one of the two teams breaks loose or whether or not they have to go into a playoff game. So these 3 games here in Houston have been kind of fun, even though the Astros aren't battling for anything. They're giving the team that is a tough go, guys.
Thank you, Greg. We look at Fernando Rodriguez. He has a 2-3 record, 6 holds, and a 3.51 ERA.
See if he can shut this Cardinal lineup down after that big inning. Fernando working for the 47th time this year. You see he's averaging better than a strikeout per inning pitched. The league hits 255 against him. He's got John Jay coming up the top of the order. Jay, Freese, Pujols, and Berkman.
He was in the game last night, and Pujols led off the 8th inning with a single against Fernando. Then he walked at Holiday and left the game, and those 2 runners scored later and were charged to him. Jay is 0 for 3 with a sac fly. He's hit the ball in the air all 4 times. Strike 1. And Ariel Del Rosario in 2/3 of an inning allowed 2 hits, 3 runs, walking 1 with no strikeouts. Wesley Wright in 1/3 of an inning gave up 2 hits, 1 run, 1 walk, no strikeouts. Line shot, and that's a fair ball. It kicks off, and it kicks out to Bogusevic, who will take a shot into second with a throw that gets him.
Wow! Don't run on that man. Bad idea.
2 more outfield assists tonight for Bogusevic.
That's some kind of play right there. That is fun stuff. Tracks down this Karam and then just unleashes a laser to second base. Can't do it any better. Cannot do it any better than that.
It's his 9th outfield assist. David Freese calls it for strike 1. Hit number 13 for the Redbirds. Hit sharply, but turned out to be out number 1 here in the 8th inning. Pujols is on deck. Bogusevic gunned down Freese at the plate on a fly ball by Pujols in the 1st inning for his 1st assist of the night.
He can really throw. Imagine that. He used to be a pitcher.
He played that Karam well, too. 1-2.
Yeah, just beautiful work. Staying under control.
Out to right center field. Bogusevic running for this one as well as Shuck. Bogusevic puts it away.
Catch it behind your back. Might as well have a little fun out there.
He is doing it all, isn't he? It's a complete game for Bogusevic. 2 hits, a walk, 2 runs scored.
I'm making him the quarterback on the offseason football team. He's going to be the first pick in the draft.
Pujols is 0 for 4. On a night with 13 Cardinal hits. Of the starting 8, he's the only one without a hit. Pulls that one, and that'll go foul for strike 1.
Fernando starting him with a changeup, mostly from Fernando. It's fastball, curveball. Normally see that changeup, but he breaks it out there. 0-0, catches Albert out in front. And the good hook.
0-2. Jonathan Papelbon got his 31st save in Boston's 8-7 win over Baltimore. Alfredo Aceves the winner, 10-2 now. Bouncer up the middle. Barmas will not be able to stop that one. It's a hit on through into center. Now every Cardinal starter, other than the pitcher, has collected a hit.
Just got the feeling Albert was bound and determined. He was up there hacking. Yanked that changeup foul, swung wildly at the curveball, and went out of the strike zone to get the fastball. But he's strong enough, even though he had to reach for this ball. It's well off the plate and down. He just beats it into the ground. But with top spin and his strength, it scoots through the infield. Whoop, careful now.
Slipped a little at first. He's aboard for Berkman, who has 3 hits and 4 at-bats. Lance's batting average is .302 now. Ball 1. Anthony Swarzak in Minnesota down Kansas City 7-4 tonight. Two balls, no strikes. Detroit beat Cleveland 9-6. Max Scherzer winning his 15th. Jose Valverde got save number 48. It's 94 wins for the Tigers, and the Rangers are ahead, trying for their 95th win out west. 3 balls, no strikes. Dodgers in Arizona scoreless after 4.5. Arizona 1 win behind Milwaukee. Milwaukee leads 6-4 after 7 against Pittsburgh. Fielder has hit his 3rd homer of the night, giving him 38. Right to Berkman. So Fielder ties Matt Kemp for the NL lead in home runs.
Rather wide zone for Dana DeMuth tonight.
There's strike 2. Pujols takes off on the next one. Rodriguez, pitcher number 5 for Brad Mills. La Russa has used 6. Berkman checked his swing and drew the walk. They appealed to Paul Nauert on it. 2 on for Alan Craig. Five walks for Astros pitchers, who also have allowed 14 hits. Craig came off the bench when Holiday left with a hand injury, and Craig delivered the big RBI double in the 7th inning with 2 outs. That one tied at 6-6, and then Terrio came up with a 2-run triple after a walk. Inside for ball 1 on Craig.
Tomorrow in Atlanta, it's Joe Blanton versus Tim Hudson.
Okay. 1-1. Blanton probably wouldn't be pitching that many innings tomorrow, right? He hasn't been starting.
I'm not sure. I just know that if I'm Freddie Gonzalez, I'm glad I can hand the ball to Tim Hudson tomorrow.
Yeah.
He's a gamer.
True. It's 2-1.
Hudson's had some neck problems.
Right here tomorrow night, Chris Carpenter for St. Louis, Brett Myers for Houston. Ball makes it 2 balls, 2 strikes. Well, as far as Charlie Manuel is concerned, he may want to avoid using certain relievers tomorrow, but certainly his call as he prepares for the playoffs. We haven't seen who plays on Friday yet in the playoffs, have we?
I believe the Phillies do. I'm not sure, to tell you the truth.
Now 3-2.
I haven't really been focusing on the playoffs
No.
since March.
Well, there are a myriad of possibilities as far as the matchups. Going down to the final day, this should be one heck of a final day. 3-2, 2 outs, high to left field. And they're getting up in the boxes. Carlos Lee drifting back, watching it go. That's a 3-run homer. Alan Craig has driven in 4 in this game. That opens it wide open for the Cardinals to tie for the wild card lead. Craig hits his 10th home run of the season, and it's 12-6.
Boy, they scored a lot of runs with 2 outs tonight. Think about this inning is Volkasevic makes the play on Jay, then Freese flies out, and then Albert Pujols with 2 strikes hits that ground ball on that pitch about 6 inches outside that he had to reach for. That was a base hit. And then the Berkman walk, and then that big swing in the bat there by Alan Craig.
Yadier Molina, strike 1. Molina has an RBI single and a walk tonight. That's 12 runs on 15 hits for the Redbirds. All the way, it's 0-2. The Yankees will be hosting Game 1 on Friday in the Division Series in the American League. And the rest up in the air. Looks like a Friday matchup in that one too in the American League.
Yeah, the website I'm looking at shows American League starting both series on Friday and the National League both on Saturday. Okay. I was under the impression that Philly started Friday, but apparently that is not true.
Okay. Shock in center field, getting underneath this one. And in the 8th inning, the Redbirds pour it on some more with 3 runs scoring on 3 hits. They lead it now 12-6.
Happening. The Astros had one big blow, a 2-run triple by Paredes, who was part of a 4-run 3rd inning. But after that, the Astros have been pretty much shut down. They've had one other run. And here are some of the hits the Cardinals have pulled off. Schumacher had a big one that drove in a couple. And, of course, off the bench, you have a big hit by Terrio that's going to drive in some runs. And it's important to point out that Terrio drove in these runs that you're seeing scoring here. He was off the bench. Craig off the bench. He's got 4 runs batted in, including that 3-run homer that we just saw. The Cardinal bench has done very big things for them, and they have a 12-6 lead right now, guys.
A lot of late hitting. 4 runs in the 7th, 3 runs in the 8th. They lead it now 12-6 as Octavio Dotel comes in. Daniel Descalzo at third base. Jimmy Paredes at the plate. Paredes is 2 for 3. Drove in a couple with a triple back in the 3rd inning. Varmus will follow. There's strike one.
Hotel continuing this parade of relievers into the ball game. The 7th Cardinal pitcher to work tonight.
No balls, 2 strikes. Got the loss last night. Bringing up the game winner in the 10th inning. He also pitched the 9th. He had a 1-2-3 9th inning. In the 10th, Bogusevic had an opposite field double, wound up scoring on the bunt by Sanchez. Safety squeeze. Dotel had made an error. Now he looked like he hit. No, it's a strikeout on Paredes. He was ruled to have swung, and that's out number 1.
We got to take off and run.
Yep.
Offers at the breaking ball in the dirt. And the quick ask. Might as well take off.
Strikeout number 9 for Cardinal pitching. Dotel had some fielding issues last night. Made an error on the Bourgeois sacrifice bunt, and then he couldn't get to the Sanchez game-winning bunt. Barmas is 1 for 3. Looking at ball 1. Pitcher spot due up next. Looks like Carlos Corporan on deck. Switch hitting catcher. Preparing to hit for Rodriguez. It's 1-1. Hotel has had a long and productive career, and one of the acquisitions the Cardinals made to help them out in the final 2 months of the season. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Back when the Astros had Brad Lidge, Dotel, and Billy Wagner, that was one of the best bullpens around.
The ghostly trio.
Rolled out to third base. Descalzo just in the game. Takes care of out number 2. And now Corporan will be pinch hitting for Rodriguez. Carlos has not played in several days, awaiting the surgery of his infant son, which took place yesterday and was successful on his heart. Corporan, a 191 hitter, has no homers, 11 runs batted in. He is 1 for 2 as a pinch hitter. Quintero's on deck. Ball 1 to Carlos Corporan. Texas 4, the Angels 2. They've played 3 in Anaheim. Cincinnati and the Mets are in the 13th, tied 4-4.
Hang with them, boys.
Yeah. Jay back in center field to win the 8th inning in 1-2-3 fashion. Moving to the 9th, it's 12-6 St. Louis. 5-0 after 3, tied it with a 5-run fourth, fell behind again 6-5, and then exploded with 4 in the 7th inning, added 3 more in the 8th. They come up in the 9th now with a 6-run lead, 12-6, and just about to move into a wild card tie for the lead with the Atlanta Braves and take it down to the final day. Carlos Corporon stays in to do the catching after pinch hitting for the pitcher Rodriguez, who in 1 inning allowed 3 hits, 3 runs with a walk and no strikeouts. Juan Abreu comes in for the 7th time. He has no decisions and an ERA of 1.59.
And the hard throwing right-hander acquired in the Michael Bourne deal from the Braves has not had a chance to work often, but at times has been impressive. He really throws hard. Very good strikeout numbers.
He certainly does. His strikeout ratio is fantastic. 12 strikeouts in 5 2/3 innings. He will definitely bring some high octane stuff to the mound here in the 9th inning. Edwin Jackson is doing some throwing in the Cardinal bullpen. And he had been conjectured as somebody who was in the rotation who might be used in relief in this series. Apparently determination has been made not to use Kyle Loesch in relief in this series. He could be the Thursday starter if the Braves and Cardinals are playing off. Ryan Theriot came off the bench and thumped a 2-run triple in the 7th inning. One of the big hits for the Redbirds. Ground ball to shortstop. 1 pitch, 1 out for Abreu. And so as Greg showed us on that earlier clip, quite some night for the bench of the Cardinals. Craig and Theriot. Chambers had a pinch hit. Great bench production for La Russa tonight. Nick Punto is 3 for 4. He had an RBI double in the 7th inning.
Yeah, generally you don't think it's going to be bad news when Matt Holliday has to come out of a game against you. You think that's a good thing. Craig 2 out of 3 with 4 RBIs and 3 runs scored.
Abreu delivers, and that's ball 2. Cincinnati just scored a run in the top of the 13th. Takes a 5-4 lead in New York to the bottom of the 13th with Francisco Cordero pitching. That makes it 2-1.
You know, I overheard Brian McTaggart earlier today saying that for the first time since 1999, there will not be a California team in the postseason.
Ooh, I hadn't thought about that at all. 3-1. Here's another question for you baseball observers. Since the wild card era started in '95, can you remember both leagues' wild card races going down to the final day in a dead heat? High drive to right center field. Bogusevic pursues this one back by the bullpen wall, and that one very impressive blast. Punto hits number 1, and it was a no-doubter. His 4th hit of the game. Where has that power been all year? 13-6. We just needed a hard thrower.
It's peaking at the right time.
Yeah. He's had about 130 at bats in the big leagues. That one sailed into the bullpen. Now Doug Rocaille is coming out. Descalzo the batter. They turned the backs on him.
First one of the year. A little silent treatment. Couldn't stay with it very long. He felt guilty.
Half-hearted silent treatment effort.
Got to commit to the silent treatment. So never been much of a power hitter. That's just his 14th major league home run. His best year in that regard was 2005 with the Twins when he hit 4.
Descalzo looks at it. It's up high for ball 1. Pittsburgh batting, top of the 9th inning, trailing Milwaukee 6-4. Towering pop.
It's out if he comes down.
Altuve, 2 outs. And John Jay, who has 1 hit and a sac fly tonight, will be the batter. Cubs in San Diego are in the middle of the 4th inning, 2-1 Padres. Aramis Ramirez hit his 26th for Chicago. There was a story today that he would prefer to move on and not be a part of a rebuilding program for the Cubs next year. Strike to Jay. I'm trying to remember, doesn't he have an option year on his contract that he gets to pick up? Is that the way it works?
I believe so.
Foul back. 0-2. Tony Cruz is on deck. Pitcher spot due up next.
Must have had a change of heart because at the trade deadline he said he didn't want to go anywhere.
That's true. It's a 1-2 count. It may be that La Russa wants to keep Dotel a little fresher for tomorrow night by using someone else such as Edwin Jackson for the 9th inning in this game. Pinch hitter on deck. That one hit him. Jay takes his base.
That's the other thing that's been interesting about the stat sheet on Juan Abreu. A lot of strikeouts. Did they even get him? I don't think they got him.
He wasn't really dying of pain. That was the 5th hit batsman. 6 1/3 innings for Abreu. Maybe might have grazed his shin bone. Tony Cruz is the pinch hitter for Dotel, who had a 1-2-3 inning with a strikeout. Strike 1 to Cruz.
Guy throws this hard. His command is somewhat suspect. If the umpire tells you to take your base, you're not going to argue with him.
Not a bit. It's not worth arguing over, JD. No balls, 2 strikes. Giants got a run in the 1st, and that's holding up so far. 1-0. They lead Colorado, bottom of the 4th inning. Broken bat looper behind second into center field. Jay goes first to third on the single by Cruz. He's now 4 for 11 pinch hitting this year. And it's Albert Pujols now. Pujols 1 for 5. 17 hits for the Cardinals. They had 12 last night and lost 5-4 in 10. Sunday the Astros surrendered 19 runs and 25 hits to Colorado. And their staff ERA is taking a beating. Ball 1 to Pujols. Workman's coming out of the game. Pinch hitter Shane Robinson on deck. Popped up. Corper on back. This will be out of play. It's 1-1.
I wouldn't be surprised if Tony asked Albert if he wanted this at bat or not.
True.
He said, "You want to shut her down? You want one more swing tonight?"
He rocks this one to center field. Shuck backing on it. Now he stops for out number 3. Well, the Cardinals add to their lead with a run on 2 hits. Leave 2 in the 9th inning. It's now 13-6 St. Louis. to a big lead now. They came from behind, trailing 5-0 after 3. Shane Robinson takes over in right field. At first base, it's Tony Cruz, Lance Berkman, and Albert Pujols head for the Showers. And then a big ball game tomorrow night. Edwin Jackson, as a starting pitcher, has contributed well to the Cardinals. He's 5-2 with a 3.62 ERA. And now in to close this game out.
So many players used in this game. I expect to look up and see pitchers getting their running in the outfield, like in spring training.
Yeah, it does seem like that kind of a game right now.
It does now, but obviously the stakes much higher for the St. Louis Cardinals, and they're about to go on and tie Atlanta if they can get 3 more outs before the Astros score a couple of touchdowns. Edwin Jackson charged with that duty. He has pitched 12 times for the Cardinals since being acquired in a trade at the deadline. All of those as a starter. And he's pitched well. He's 5-2 with a 3.62 ERA. He's one of the harder throwers among the starting pitchers in the National League.
First man up, pinch hitter Angel Sanchez. Batting for the Houston pitcher, Abreu.
I misspoke. 1 touchdown and an extra point will tie the game.
Okay.
That's all we need.
It's important to take note of that here in the bottom of the 9th.
I don't want to discourage folks.
You never want to be discouraged.
Here we go.
Liner into left field. There's the start.
There's a little 3-yard gain.
Pinch single for Sanchez, who got the game winner home with a bunt last night. Now J.B. Schock 0 for 4. Edwin Jackson began his career in the Dodger organization. Jackson was 7-7 in the American League with a 3.92 ERA, but the ERA's gone down a little bit. Winning percentage has gone up as a Cardinal. That's ball 1. He's made 12 starts for St. Louis. This is his first relief performance of the year. Fastball fouled away outside the left field line.
So overall 12-9 this year. 4th time in his career he's been in double digits in wins.
Jackson was born in Germany and then drafted in the 6th round in 01 by the Dodgers. The shot. What a play by Descalso on that low liner to the backhand side.
Makes it hard to come back when guys make plays like that. Good swing of the bat, though. Tough hole for JB tonight.
Yeah.
Hit the ball hard a couple of times. First time up, being a bullet to center. Now that one, nothing to show for it. It's the nature of the game.
Altuve is 2 for 4.
It'll test you.
You know it will. Bogusevic on deck. Ball 1. Edwin Jackson, after 3 years with the Dodgers, then moved along to Tampa Bay and Detroit. He became an All-Star in 09 with the Tigers, 13-9. Popped back by Altuve.
Now he's from New Ulm, West Germany, and there's a New Ulm here in Texas.
Oh, that's right.
So shouldn't one of them be the original Ulm? I mean,
yes.
Not that whole idea between Ulm, like, you know, York and New York or whatever.
It sure is. Well, just guessing about where that settlement is in Texas, it was probably settled by Germans.
Yeah. So it must be really New Ulm. Newer Ulm.
Yeah. Up the middle, a hit into center field for Altuve, his 3rd hit of the night. Now 2 men on, and Bogusevic will bat.
Well, he's had a heck of a night. Nice to see him finish it off with another good swing of the bat. Altuve has such quick hands. Not a good pitch here by Jackson. A breaking ball that stayed up in the zone, but still nice swing of the bat there by Jose.
Altuve has 198 hits this year at A-ball, AA, and the majors. Bogusevic has a double, a single, and a walk. 2 runs scored. 2 outfield assists. Another excellent play. Quite an all-around game for Bogusevic. Carlos Lee's on deck.
I think a long ball would help just finish it off.
Yeah. Good ball 1. That would probably relieve any doubt about his best ever major league game.
Well, boy, when he first got in the lineup there in Arizona, remember he had a couple really big games. The pinch hit grand slam. He's had some big moments.
He sure has. There's Jason Mott. He is the Cardinal closer. Probably told to just take it easy here.
You get a sense of how important this is. It's a 7-run game. Talk about crossing all your T's.
You know it. Strike makes it 1-1. That time of year when you do see starting pitchers in relief sometimes. Whatever it takes. All hands on deck is the saying for contending teams coming down to the final days of the season.
Johnny Allstaff.
Bogusevic fouls that one.
It's been a while since Bogey went deep. Let's say 85, 98 B, something like that. '85 at bats.
August 22nd in Colorado. Back by Bogusevic. Edwin Jackson beat Randy Johnson in his major league debut on his 20th birthday.
Up with the Dodgers, top pitching prospect for them. High expectations when he came to the big leagues. It took him a while to settle in, but he did come up at a very young age, as Brownie points out.
2-2. He had a World Series experience in '08 with Tampa Bay.
Since then, he's been on the move. Detroit, White Sox, Diamondbacks, now Cardinals.
Still 2-2 to Bogusevic.
Do you know that Giot is not a word?
Giot is not a word? You're kidding.
It's words with friends thing. Giot's not a word.
For all these years, we thought it was a word. We've used it on so many pregame shows, JD. That's horrifying to find that out.
Golly, it should be a word. He hit the Giot out of that thing.
3 balls, 2 strikes. You crushed everybody with that revelation. Dodgers nothing, Arizona nothing after 6. Texas 8, Angels 2, top of the 5th inning. Nelson Cruz hit his 29th. Mike Napoli, number 27. That's a line shot to left field, and it's caught. That was a bullet.
Deserved better. But a great at bat again. Boy, what a night.
Big night for Bogusevic. That one found a glove. Alan Craig caught it. 2 outs now, and it's Lee. Lee with a single, 2 walks, and a fly ball to center. 17 hits for the Cardinals, 11 for the Astros. Brett Wallace is on deck. Brett Myers starts for Houston tomorrow night against Chris Carpenter.
Freddie Gonzalez having to feel awfully good about being able to hand the ball to Tim Hudson. Likewise for Tony La Russa, giving it to Carpenter with everything on the line.
to lead. It's 1-1. Myers is 0-2 this year against St. Louis with a 5.14 ERA and 2 starts. Carpenter made 1 start against the Astros back in late July. Pitched well, got a no decision. 1-2. Cardinals are 6 for 13 with runners in scoring position tonight. Last night they were 3 for 13. Cincinnati beat the Mets in the 13th inning 5-4. Sam LeCure the winner. Cordero got his 37th save. Back to Jackson. And the Cardinals have tied the Atlanta Braves for the wild card lead. Trailing 5-0 after 3. They got 5 in the 4th, and then they really poured it on with 4 in the 7th, grabbing the lead again, 3 in the 8th, 1 in the 9th, sailing away to a 13-6 win over Houston tonight.